Hello, everyone. It's me, Andrew. Let's see if I can get all this working. Let me know if the sound is working because I was having a little bit of an issue earlier. Can you all hear me okay? Let me see if I can do a mic check. Stream info seems good. So if you're watching, let me know if you can hear me because I don't know if it's working. Let me see. All right. If I see there is one person watching, let me know if you can hear me because I'm having maybe technical difficulties. I don't know. Let me see. Norma says that she can hear me on YouTube. Marian says it is working. Oh, good. Hooray. Well, hopefully you all are having a great week so far. We've had a busy day today. We had an interview this morning with Brooke from Johnstown's Finest. I may have said that wrong, but she will post a link to the video when it comes up. I think it's supposed to come up on Sunday, so that's exciting. We had to go to the shop a little bit early to tidy up and water the plants and do a chalk sign and all that business. So the store is looking tidy. However, if you have a trained eye, then you know that stuff is all kind of wonkadoodle and out of place. At one point, she was like, "Show us around," and we're like, because we haven't gotten a chance to kind of zhuzh everything and kind of like like group everything. We try usually to like put all the like with the like, and that allows us to be able to like say, "Oh, here's if you're looking for loose check glass, here you go." So, anyways, I have a couple people watching. Norma's watching, and she says she can hear me. Hallelujah, because I did not know um, if I made it work or not. Usually there's like a little sound indicator, and it like doot doot doot, and it did not doot doot doot. So I was like, "What's happening? How come this always happens when William's at his class?" Marion says it's working. Marion said that she subscribed to her YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I think she would really appreciate that. I think it's also nice for us to collaborate with other people in Johnstown to hopefully not only get the word out about what we're doing, but you know how we are. You know how we roll. The rising tide raises all boats. So it's really important for us to make those connections. And, we know a couple people in Johnstown already, and we're friendly with some of the different organizations and the different businesses there. But it would be really nice for us to kind of, you know, make even more kind of friends and set down more roots in the town. So that'll be good. So I think it'll be a nice thing. We had a lovely chat before. It's kind of a pre-production interview, and we got to learn more about her, and she got to learn about us, and it was really nice. So if you get a chance, give her subscribe to her channel. She does a lot of lovely small business features. It's kind of similar to what we do with what we were doing here in Ligonier called Around the Town. Um, but it's one of those things where it's not necessarily in an idea that is exclusive to us. So it's nice to be able to network with somebody else and hopefully provide some interesting things for her viewers and subscribers, and also to add to kind of the plushness, I guess, of the Johnstown merchant community. Hopefully they like us. Amanda's watching. Hi, Amanda. Susie, our neighbor, is watching. Hey, Susie. Suzanne is watching. Hey, Suzanne. Marianne says, some funny things happened on YouTube today. I don't know. Good luck with that. Hopefully it's okay. Marianne says, you are also live on the Instagram. I tried real hard to make it work. I think it's streaming in that lower quality. Oh, Boulder Dash. It's too late to change that now. So if you're on Instagram, you're probably not getting the best view. What's happening? What's happening? Let me see if I can change that. I don't think that I can change the streaming, the quality of the streaming after we've started. But it looks pretty clear on my end for YouTube and for Facebook. But I have Instagram open and it's a little bit fuzzy on my end. So if you're watching on Instagram and it's fuzzy, I apologize. And hopefully you can head on over to one of our other outlets and watch there, because I think they're clear there. Let me know if it's clear where you're watching. Also, if you could be so kind to like and share this post, it helps tremendously. Boosts the signal. We've been talking a lot about boosting signals and how we can do our part to help elevate others. It's one of those things that is important to us, and we try to give back in the way that people give back to us. So there you go. Marion says, on the History Live I watch today, the live continued even after the ladies left. Not sure if it was on a StreamYard issue or YouTube itself. Oh boy. I don't know if I would like that, because I get sometimes sassy and I might get in trouble if I'm filter free. And I think also when I think that I'm even more hyper, I don't know, it gets a little bit, free. No, I wouldn't say free for all, but I do embrace my expressiveness as a creative person, including my language. Cheryl's watching. Hey, Cheryl. Marion says, quality of video, good. Oh, good, good. So yes, please do like and share this video. We have some new gemstones that we're going to share with you today. And if we get through that early enough, maybe I'll do a little sculpting something or another. I like to, I love, we, okay, I'm a little bit tongue-tied today, but we always like to show projects and do education and community building that way. However, the practicality of it is that we are on limited hours for our in-store, and we're still building up our clientele there. It's funny because in Ligonier, we moved just a few blocks down in 2018, 2019, one of those. And people just assume we closed. And it's like, what about all the 1,100 posts we post about how we're moving or send out postcards, send out flyers, put grand reopening party, sent it out on the text message, sent it out on the email, and people still thought we had closed. So it's going to take a hot minute to train people or retrain people to go and find us at the new store. It's just the way it is. I don't know why it's like that. I'm always eager to see like somebody's new digs. For me, it's kind of interesting to see like where they went and how they changed and what they moved around and if they brought anything new in. So it's always interesting for me. But for some people, they're like, I don't know, they're not there in the place that they always are, so it must be closed. So I don't know what that's about. But and I'm also pretty hyper vigilant about like checking Google and stuff about places. I'm like, am I gonna waste a trip? Because I don't want to waste a trip. So I always look and see where people are and what their hours are and stuff like that. Let's see. Um, Amanda said, I got a notice of a video going live, but it was a previous live video. Oh no. Well, you're here now. So that's good. Brooke said, so happy to see you today. Happy to see you too. Oh, this is the Brooke that came and did the interview today. She's working on editing the video for Sunday, and we will post all the links to the videos, and hopefully you'll all go out and like and subscribe to her channel as well, because the rising tide raises all boats. Amanda says, I have severe weather heading my way. Oh no. That probably means we're having it too. And the sky does look dark. Yesterday, all right, story time, y'all. We're going off script. We always go off script. So it's not, we don't actually have a script. Well, sometimes we have a checklist, but not really a script. But anyways, so yesterday we were in the parking lot of a store, and I was like, should we go home and close the window? Should we go home and close the window? Because it's looking like it's going to rain. And William's like, no. He's like, I'm going to check the weather. And he checked it on his phone and says, oh, the radar says it's not gonna rain. It's not gonna rain. It's not gonna rain. I was like, because I feel the pressure on my head and the sky's looking a little dark over there. And he's like, no, 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 no. It's be fine, be fine, I'll be fine. Because we leave the windows open and let the air in for the cats, and keep the house cooler. And guess what happened? I don't want to say that somebody knows something that somebody else didn't know, but it rained. So yeah. Let's see. Marianne says they blanked out the screen sound, but they had the same worry as they get a little sassy on History After Dark. Oh boy. That's like one of my worst nightmares, leaving the camera on. Actually, I mean, we don't get up to, I mean, hopefully, if something's happening that you shouldn't be seeing, you will avert your eyes and somebody will do the good neighborly thing of pounding on the door and said, put your clothes back on or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. We usually don't do anything like that. So, yeah. Be like, oh my gosh, he's eating another donut. Look at him eat that donut. He just won't stop eating. So if you saw yesterday, we were talking about the strawberry rhubarb that we got at the Amish stand yesterday. I stayed up way too late, and I made a strawberry rhubarb crisp. Now I learned, even though I've been making these for years, definitively, according to the Google that I did, the difference between a crisp and a crumble is a crisp has oats in it. So I like oats. I think that's good for you. And I add them whenever I can to dessert things. I know some people are like, oh boy, what are we gonna do with this oatmeal again? Oatmeal everything. Well, it makes it good. It gives a little bit of texture. Good for fiber, for the things. So anyways, that turned out really good. I couldn't wait. I was gonna wait until William had gotten up this morning, but it was fresh out the oven. I took a picture of it, and it was it was the siren song of the strawberry rhubarb, and it was double dang good, y'all. Boy, I licked the plate. I licked the plate. I shouldn't have a restaurant because I have the PTSD from being in the restaurant industry. But if I gave somebody my recipe, which I don't actually use recipes, so it's not really helpful. Um, if somebody watched me make it and then tried to duplicate it and actually wrote down the precise eyeballing that I do when I cook, it was double dang good, y'all. So I highly recommend the strawberry rhubarb crisp. I put a little bit of brown sugar on top, make it a little bit extra crunchy, um, and it turned out really good. Marianne says, "Stay safe, Amanda." Yes, all of our AG bead fam, stay safe out there. Amanda said, "Thanks. Hopefully, it's not too bad." Yeah. Terry's watching. Hey, Terry. Cheryl says, "I'm getting some popcorn. This is getting good." Uh-oh. What did I say now? I don't think I said anything too sassy. Marion says, "A lot of us kept watching until the screen went blank." Oh boy. Nobody texted them and been like, hey girl, what's up? Your camera's still going and your mouth is running as well. Um Marion says, "It looked delicious." Oh, good. There's a little bit left. I'm still holding out for the vanilla ice cream. If William is watching or feeling this into the ether, vanilla ice cream, vanilla ice cream, that'd be good. Let me tell y'all, I'm into it. I'll slather it on. It's fine. Um, that I wish that in hindsight that I added some more filler because I did make a very thick topping and I wanted more fruit. I loved the topping, but this time I wanted more fruit. So I have to play around with that. We'll see what happens. The strawberries were excellent, by the way. So if you do see the Amish people, they're set up on Tuesdays just outside of town here in Ligonier. Very, very good. Anne's watching. Hello. Brooke says, "I have to have this recipe." I told you I don't use the recipes. I kind of like free for all it. I measure with my heart. So that's the thing. Somebody's gonna have to like stand over my shoulder, and then we'll have a cooking channel. Southwest Pennsylvania Cooks. I don't know, and because I have a real hard time with that. I know that I probably should. I think it's me rebelling after having worked in the restaurant industry and having to like duplicate things to like within you make something, it has to be duplicated over and over. So I think my brain is like, no, you shall not duplicate. um and so I'm like, go get a pinch of this and a handful of that. And Mom's like, so if my hand was a cup, how many cups would my hand be? And I was like, this many, of course. And he's like, well, okay. um so anyways, Marion said they knew they had the problem. Oh no. I'd be like, abort, abort, put the bag over the camera. How you don't just turn your camera off though? I don't know. I don't want to have that problem. Um, Terry says vanilla ice cream with warm crisp. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to receive that into my life again. Sandra's watching. Hello, Sandra. Speaking of North Carolina, which we weren't, but it was like a connection because Sandra's moving to North Carolina. My class went live, y'all. I got invited to teach at Sawtooth in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and they posted it. So I think they posted it yesterday. In my class, got the first seats sold, and I think we're about 25% filled at this point. So, I mean, they gave me an extra studio just in case. So we may be able to bump up this number of students, but I still want to keep it small so that people are not cheek to cheek, you know? So we're going to need some room to spread out because I'm a spreader outer. If all of you are out there are spreader outers too, and you know what I mean. Because like I got a table when I went to Aeromont, they're like, "Did you like bring your whole studio?" And I was like, "No, I did not, but I brought a lot." I like to have that. Anne says, "An artist even in the kitchen." Well, thank you. Let's see. Marion said they also texted one who was more technically inclined. Dr. Kat's husband, he is an unofficial IT guy for them. That's like William, but he's the official IT guy. Brooke says that she's back to editing. Oh, good, because that business got be out on Sunday. I'm going to look for it. Thanks for stopping by, Brooke. Marion says, now I want some crisp and vanilla ice cream, maybe tomorrow when I get paid. Yeah, you know, I didn't realize strawberries are so expensive now. We always just kind of grew them. So, but I was like, boy, that's expensive. But, you know, it was worth it. So I was like, you know, if I bought this in a restaurant, it would be like twice as much. So it's worth it. And plus, then I get to portion control. So it works out. All right. So we talked about the class a little bit. I will say, if you want to take the exploration and color class with me and William as my TA, please, please, please do not delay because I have a feeling that we're going to sell out. I'm not just saying that to make the FOMO. I'm not saying that. But they did say that they have a very strong student base and classes generally sell out. So, and they sell it quick. So please, 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 if you want to take that class and you have like designs on it, because I've been talking about it for a long time, please, please, please sign up sooner rather than later because I don't know what they're going to do about a wait list or I don't know because we're not handling that kind of part of it. So just keep that in mind. I don't want to disappoint anybody because I know some people, they told me, they said, I don't know. This is on my bucket list. I was like, I don't know what your bucket list is, but seeing me for 3 days would not be on the top of my bucket list. But for them, I guess it is. So they said that's what they want to do in their life before they die, and that's what a bucket list is. And I was like, boy, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyways, so don't miss out because I don't want to have to be like having to console anybody who missed out and then they get turned away and then gently weeping outside the window. We don't want no gentle weeping. So just keep that in mind. Sign up before they sell out because then no gentle weeping. Who wants gentle weeping? Nancy says, I'm late. What's going on? We just doing the intro. You know how we do. We talked about apple. No, we didn't talk about apples today. We talked about that yesterday. We talked about some crisps, some strawberry rhubarb crisp. We talked about how we did filming this morning and how you should like and subscribe to their YouTube channel. That's Brooke. If she's still on, can you post a link to your thing so that people can find it real easy? I'll do it after, but you know, it's not the same. But anyways, and what else? And then we talked about the teaching. And Nancy says, congrats on the teaching gig. Wahoo. Yeah, it's a good thing. You know, it's one of those things that I've done a lot of teaching, and I've done a lot of teaching all over the country, but a lot of the teaching I've done has been on a much smaller scale. So, like 3 hour classes, I've done private retreats with people, but I had to do the organizing, which is sometimes good and sometimes bad. It's one of those things that it's sometimes nice to let somebody else do all of the logistics, and then I just show up and do my show, and there you go. So that's Sawtooth. If you didn't see that, we're going to do 3 days of exploration of color on metal. Now there's another color theory class. Don't get us confused. I'm Baldy. He's not Baldy. So sign up for I'm gonna say sign up for me. If you're watching this, then you should sign up for me. If you're like, oh, I decided to sign up with this other dude, then I'm gonna be like, well, we're just not gonna sit together at lunch then, huh? No, I'm not. I'm not hateful like that. All right, let's see. Man says it is on my bucket list, but unfortunately fairly low down on the list. Wow. Sandra said, "Don't be peering in the window." I'm gonna close the curtains. What show is that? There is some show that somebody's looking in the window and somebody closes the curtains right on their face. I don't know if you can do that. And also, I think it's like up. We're going on Friday to check out the space. We're going down for another reason. I've got some stuff to pick up and some stuff to drop off, but we're going to be in that general region. So I'm going to be taking pictures out in front of the building and kind of getting a look, measuring the tables, make sure we're not all crammed together. They did have a little tour that I could go on virtually, but there's nothing quite like seeing a space in person. So I'm going to go do that. Angela's watching. Howdy, Angela. Marion says, but his first name is Andrew. Is his name Andrew? Let me look this up. We can't be double Andrewing on the same day. Well, what in the world would the world be? I feel like I'm so close, and I don't want to do that because then it makes my chin like extra. So, luminaries. You know, I'm a luminary, y'all. His name is Jason Turner. But I had a feeling that his name was like something else that was similar to my name. I don't know. Anyways, if y'all gonna sign up, do it because that'll be good. Also, it means like if I want to get hired again, then they're like, wow, his classes sell out. That's a good thing. Instead, if it's like they have to like beg and plead and cajole to get people to sign up, then they're not gonna ask me to come back. Let's just truth tell. If it's like, oh please, please, please sign up, then they're not gonna ask me to come back. Marion says, yes, will I lie to you? I don't know. She said, must be another instructor that weekend. My name is Andrew. It's nice to meet you all. I'm the co-owner and creative director of Allegory Gallery in lovely Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Me and my husband, we've owned Allegory Gallery for the past almost 13 years and are also the owners of Star Cottage Studio, which is a former 100-year-old schoolhouse that we're renovating and turning into our studio. And that's a nice segue to our Patreon. Our Patreon isn't that super interesting right now. I'm not trying to like undersell it or anything, but we have been in the middle of the move. But I still, even though we've been busy as all get out, I still have been trying to do updates there and provide fresh content so y'all don't get bored and hateful of us. So if you want to see all the things, maybe not all the things, but like, 75% of the thing, join us at the Patreon Star Cottage Studio, and then we get a little money, and then that'd be good. All right, let me make that go away. All right, so who's ready? Are y'all ready? Who's ready? So we're going to do some gemstone strands tonight. We got some in, so hopefully y'all will like them. We've been doing a lot of loose stuff, which I like. And it's really great for earrings or bracelet projects or things that you don't need a ton of. But sometimes sometimes you need a strand, right? Sometimes you need like the whole shebang. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do tonight. And if we have time, I'm gonna do another sculpting demo. How about that? Because I think that would be good. I don't know. If you don't like it, you can always turn it off and not watch it. So let's flip the camera around. It's been 30 minutes. And let's get started. Let me move this out the way though. And hopefully not end the stream or do something. I see, is that Michelle? There's a Michelle joining us on the Instagram, and a Deborah J. Wood. Hello, how are y'all? I apologize for the quality of the feed over on Instagram, but something's better than nothing, right? Maybe. I don't know. All right. Hopefully that's low enough. Camera, ultra wide back. All right, a little bit up. That's not that kind of show. We're not gonna be doing no foot show. Let's get the lights turned on. Magic penny. Where's that board? Color corrector, friend. All right. You'd be like, what's he doing with that stick? Did you know somebody thought, because this was kind of angled like this, and they thought that was my arm? I was like, if that dried up piece of driftwood, y'all thinking that that's my arm, I need to go out and get some moisturizer immediately. Because if I look like a dried out piece of wood, then that's not good. Let me just tell you, that's not good. All right. So here we go. Somebody did a sad face. What y'all sad about? Or did you hit it? I don't know. All right. Here we go. Y'all ready? So tonight we're doing gemstones. We're gonna start with a fun one, y'all. It's a mix and match, y'all. You know how I like a mix and match. Maybe you don't know. All right, we're doing X-Lots tonight. Not X-Lax. Not X-Lax. That's different. We're doing X-Lots. And this is X1. I have 5 of these strands. I love, love, love these stones. These pebbles. They look so juicy. It's a mix and match strand. There's some carnelian on there. There's some amethyst. There's some jasper. There's some quartz. There's all kinds of goodness up on here in this strand here. I got 5 of them, and they all goodies. Oh, by the way, we're doing a little bit of a sale, y'all. Oh, you only get one. This is per strand, but I'm going to show you some multiples so you don't think that there's only like one good one and then the rest is busted. So see, look how good that is. Yum, yum, yum. And there's 2 more of those. So that is X1. Let me tell you how y'all get this business. All right. Y'all probably know. There's not that many y'all watching. So um to purchase from this video, take down each lot number and send it to us in an email at info@allegorygallery.com. If you like what we do, please like, share, and subscribe/follow us. Thank you. So y'all know the drill. Put down the X1, and then this is only $10. It was 12. Then we gave you a little deal, discount deal, and then you can have this whole strand only $10. So send us an email, X1. And I love these. These are so nice. They're so juicy. If y'all make them trees, you know those ones, those wire trees, they might be good for that. But I don't know. I kind of feel like this has got a kind of a southwestern vibe to it a little bit. Like I would probably put this with some they call them Navajo pearls, where they basically dome out some metal and they do it 2 times, some silver, and then they solder them together and then sand off the seam line. So that would be good for that with this mixed in. And also, I think some stone fetishes, I think. What do y'all think? What would you put with this? Would you go gold? Would you go silver? I'm thinking silver, y'all. I love me some gold. Y'all know I do. I have the gold shoes to prove it. Not those ones, y'all. Not those ones. Never those ones. But I had gold shoes before all that. And yeah, so here you go. Suzanne says she would put it with silver. I think silver would look nice for that. Susanna was talking about yesterday about doing a thing on color and pattern, and I was thinking a lot about how I would kind of do that if I did that today. And I think one of the things that we have to think about is always what is our motivation. And I'm not talking like the actor speak or whatever, but kind of like that. But once you realize like what do you want to do with that pattern? Do you want to um, highlight certain things? There are certain properties within the stones. For instance, if you have something that is super sparkly, like a S-word crystal, and you have something that's kind of matte and kind of organic and kind of grungy, if you put those 2 things together, they kind of they boost each other's qualities up. So it's kind of like you're juxtaposing, putting something that's 2 different things side by side, and hopefully they kind of go together, but also they help accentuate those qualities in each of them, inherent in each of them. I don't know if inherent's the right word because maybe something that's faceted is not inherently faceted, but it becomes faceted. But anyways, you get what I'm talking about. Um, but also, I think of it as a jewelry maker, also as a storyteller. So, what is the story that you want to communicate? I think that that's one of those things. Like, do you want the focal to be the kind of main element? Do you want the length to be the main element? And then when you kind of figure out those things, then that's when you can kind of create more nuanced stylization of those patterns to get to where you want to go. All right. Anne says definitely silver. They would be great with Navajo pearls. Yeah, I think they'd be extra lovely like that. Here, let me open up the email. Suzanne says makes sense. Thanks. I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll post this somewhere. Um, let's see. This got all kinds of messed up when I moved it. All right, here we go. All right, no claims so far for X1, which surprises me. But anyway, all right. Oh, and don't forget, yesterday we showed a kit, which is kind of a 4th of July themed kit. And if you want that, please let us know so that we can get it out the door to you so you get it in time to make stuff. Because if we have to wait to photograph it, upload it to the website, and all that jazz, it's probably going to be, you won't have enough time. All right. Let's see. Wendy said, just sent one, hope you received. Let me see if the email, let me catch this up. And sometimes the email is slow. So sometimes it takes a hot minute for it to catch up. Let's see if it's working now. Hi, Wendy, by the way. All right. Nothing's popping up yet, so I'm going to keep looking. Harry's watching. He says hello to everyone. Hi, Harry. Cheryl says, I sent email. Maybe it's taking the longer. Yeah, probably. Maybe we'll, I don't know what's happening. William, he has his email. He has his email, and there's like a million emails in it. And it makes me itchy, y'all. I tend to try to keep on top of mine because if I don't keep on top of it, then it's no good. All right, so this is X2, y'all. X2 is coming up. These are lovely jade rounds. I love these jade rounds. All right. Now let me get these little thing, this little caliper thing. Whoop. That's good. All right. So these are about 6mm rounds, and these are beautiful. They've got that kind of juicy translucency. I love a good jade. It's got that kind of milky quality to it. It looks like if you bit into it, it would taste good maybe. But don't do that. Don't bust the teeth, y'all. Wendy said, love the new shop. Thanks. We've been working hard on it. We're still plugging away. It's going to be one of those things that takes a while. We're going to be working right up until the 29th. The 29th, June 29th, is our grand reopening party. Hopefully, y'all, if you're in the area or plan to be in the area, you'll come by that day because it'll be extra festive. So I have 5 of these jade rounds available, 6mm. See how good? You only get 1 strand, but they were $10, now $8. So you'll see a theme here of where we've knocked everything down, but well, not maybe everything, mostly everything. You knocked it down $2. So you saving automatically. You don't even have to do the math because we already did it. All right. So here we go. This is lot X2, only $8 per strand, and there's 5 strands available. And you know what to do. Send us an email at info@allegorygallery.com. And if you want more than one, be sure to let us know that you want more than one. Whose idea was to put this business on the floor? My idea. But if I start grunting, my back is still a little bit it's okay, but it's I had to soak in the Epsom salt and then take the drugs. And by the drugs I mean the acetaminophen. Ooh, look at this, y'all. I done squeezed a pomegranate for y'all. No, I didn't. But that would be good in the crisp. I'll be down to experiment with that. So these are really lovely. They are garnet and they're faceted rondelles, y'all. I have 5 strands of these available. Only 5. Originally $20, now 18 per strand. Um, I love these garnets because they're super lovely. I like that color, but also they've got a little bit of weight to them. And that's, I like that. Not with everything. Sometimes if you're making earrings or something, you don't want to have like, Borneo style earrings. But sometimes you want that. You want that that feel of heft. That when they talk about in the romance novels about the heft, yeah, they like it too. All right, here you go. So I got 5 of these. Only 5 of these. I think that's a good price, y'all. Kelly's watching. Hey, Kelly. Free D O'Brien is watching. Hey there. Yeah. So I've got these. These are $18 a strand. I have 5 strands available. Send us an email at with the subject line X3. And it could be yours. First come, first serve basis. Now let's see how big these are. These are approximately 6 millimeters wide. Wait, would you say that's, I don't know, 6 millimeter this way, and then let me see if I can get that. Come on. About 3 millimeter this way. So 6 by 3. Let me see if this is 6 by 3 also. 6 by 3. All right. So about 6 by 3 faceted rondelles. These are really juicy, y'all. Sylvia said, sent email. Oh, good. Thank y'all for claiming. Let me see if I can't pull up an alternative way to check this email because I'm still not seeing anything. I'm gonna have to, okay, let me put this in box. Well, it's gonna, maybe Williams is working. Anyways, we'll keep going and then I'll circle back when William gets out of his class and then he can look. And says, yum, garnets and rubies are always my faves. Me too. I love these. You can find these on the ground and they're that color. I was hiking in North Carolina. There's a place called Craggy Gardens. And I was like, what's that speck of red on the path? I thought somebody must have busted a ring out or something. And there were little tiny, tiny, tiny garnets. And so I thought that was really lovely. I almost was going to, if I had a hammer, no, you're not supposed to bring a hammer. But if I was tempted. I was tempted to chisel out my own destiny there. So anyways, this is X3, $18 a strand. I got 5 strands available. I'm trusting in the higher power that the emails are getting through somehow. Every once in a while, it seems like when I go live, stuff like this happens. All right, get ready. Who's ready? Apparently, I'm not. X4. Was $18, now $16. There's 5 of these available as well. Y'all know how we do. We try to get, a nice selection, but we never get like a ton of these strands. Oop. All right, so these are these jasper. I believe this polychrome jasper. But you've got all these lovely shades of kind of minty green with kind of a peachy pink color with a little bit of brown. These are really lovely. I love how they've got kind of their own kind of organic-y. I don't know if organic-y is a word, but they've got that kind of shape that is nice and smooth. So it's a tumbled, but they're also kind of like a pinch bead, but like in the form of stone. You know how in the pinch bead it's got about 3 sides on it? Look like somebody's pinched it. Like as a cute baby that done pinched the cheek. Here's another strand of this beautiful jasper. You get 1 strand per $16. Each strand is $16. They were $18. William, he said he's gonna price these higher. I said, come on, give him a break, y'all. Give him a break. And he was like, all right. For you, my love, I will give them a break. I said, good. Cheryl says, love those for bracelets. Awesome. I would also love them. Marianne says, garnets are my birthstone. My dad went on a helicopter trip once, and there went the garnets at the site they landed. He didn't even bring me back one. So sad. Yeah, that is a little bit sad. Marianne said, I can't type tonight without my glasses. I hope I guesstimated that correctly. The meaning of the words. All right, so these are what we got tonight. This is X4. Send it to us in an email at info@Allegory Gallery. Let me do a force quit. Maybe that's going to do it. I'm going to force quit you. No, not Safari, because then I'm going to quit the Instagram. Never mind. Oh, the mail. I'm going to do the force quit the mail. Sorry, y'all. We learning and growing together. I'll force quit that. All right, so now I'm going to force open that. Oh, did it go? William, his phone is better about this. Oh, looks like y'all like us. Y'all really, really like us. I see X1. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I think 3 of X1 are claimed. Let me see if any of X2. X2 is claimed, 1 of them. X3, 1 of them is claimed. And X4, let's see, one of these is claimed. All right. Let me see here. Oh, good. I'm glad the email. All it took is a little bit of persuasion. All right. So that was not that interesting. You see me talking to myself, but lovely, lovely jasper for the low, low price of $16 per strand. We have 4 more of these available because we have 5 of them in total. I'm trying not to tangle them up either. That way it's not like a snake den later. Oh, all right. If y'all like carved stones, raise your hands. I can't see you doing it, but I'm just going to assume you're doing it. Because we got some goodies tonight. Who likes flowers, y'all? Me. I'm raising my hand. You're like, what in the world? Where's William? Where's William? He's nicer. Here you go. I got these. These ones we selling them loosey goosey because we got a big old bag of these that are mixed. So I went through and picked these out. These are pink lepidolite. They look really close to Unikite, but I believe they're the pink lepidolite because we have another strand coming up that kind of has that vibe, and those ones are definitely that. This one has a little bit more. It's not quite as opaque as Unikite would be, so it's kind of got the little bit of green, a little bit kind of an orangey color, kind of pinky a little bit. And these ones are $1.50 each, and I have 17 available. Now, each of these are a little bit different. For instance, this one, the radials are kind of a little bit bent. They got a curvature to them, and some of them are a little bit more straight. So, like this one is one of the ones that's a little bit more straight, and they are drilled. Let me find that hole, y'all. There you go. So you can see through that hole. It's a pretty good hole. So you've got this one, and then you got a little bit of this like whirligig version, but they're all similar. So if you order this, we'll just pick your random one unless you have a specific that you're looking for. But like if you made these into earrings, that's $3, and you have like this killer set of hand carved stone flowers. I couldn't carve that for $3. Let me just tell you, that's not gonna happen today, tomorrow, or the next day. So you better get them here at the allegorygallery.com. No, this is not on the website. You have to send us an email at info@allegorygallery.com because that's the only way we're taking claims tonight. All right. So this is X5, 150 each, and got 17 available. See a couple people claiming them. Oh, good. That makes me happy that people like these because you never know. Like you never know if folks are gonna like what you bring in. All right. Up next is X6. $1.50 each. Again. All right, here we go. Whoa. All right, let me put this up to your eyeball hole so you can see it. Wow. So this is Howlite. So Ann says you're doing great. You know what? It'd be better if William was doing it because then I could rest my throat muscles. Anyway, so this one is Howlite. Now you all know sometimes when they get the Howlite and they dye the Howlite, people they're like, ugh, and then they make a face. But this is how it looks when it's popped out, not directly popped out the ground. But this is the natural color of Howlite, and I love it. It's this beautiful white with a little bit of cream in there and with swathes of like a pale gray. It's almost like the marble tops that they have on those TV shows where they do home renovations. It's got that vibe. And these are so pretty. I love these. These are X6 and they're $1.50 each. I have 18 of these available and they're so cool. They're all hand carved, all beads. So you don't have to worry about trying to set this business. You put this on a head pin and call it a day. And this is $1.50 each, X6. Send us to an email at info@allegorygallery.com. All right. So I'm going to go jump to the next one. Show says, Whoozah. It's a pretty good interpretation. Thanks. I sold 2 of X6. Thank you. We got 16 more of those available. All right, moving on. Here we go. If gray and white isn't your thing, how about green and white? Ta-da! This one here called tree agate. And it's white with that green. See here? And it says, love the flowers. Me too. I love these. You know, you don't really see a bunch of carved stones now because it's so much extra work. And a lot of the factories that used to do this with artisans who would carve these, there's no more. A lot of that stuff closed down over the pandemic. These ones are vintagey. I don't actually know how old these are exactly, but I do know that I haven't seen these for a while, maybe 10 years. So it's at least that. So carved tree agate, and you get these flowers. I think these are so cool. These are X7, $1.50 each. Was $2 each, now $1.50. And there's only 17 available. So if you're interested in that, y'all gotta get them because they're gonna go out, and then where you gonna get them? I don't know. All right, here we go. I see X7. 2 of those have been claimed. Thank you. We have 15 left of X7. All right, here we go. What we got going? I'm gonna pick up the pace, otherwise we're gonna be here until midnight o'clock. Actually, we're not gonna be there that late. We've been trying not to do that, keep y'all up too late, because you know, we don't want you to be like, you know, if you have to go to work, then you know, be zombie time. All right. These ones are black. And I believe these are an onyx. They, you know, with obsidian, they're a little bit glossy, and these are not that glossy. So onyx is my first guess. So I have 15 of these black stone flowers. They're $1.50. Oh, look, it made a little heart. That's cute. It loves you. So please get me. Please get me. All right, that's X8, $1.50 a piece. These are really lovely. I love these. I'm gonna make something with those later if we have some time. All right, I see 2 of those have been claimed. You got 13 left. All right. So let me put these away. Oh, we sold another 3. So that's 10 left, y'all. Okay. Now these ones, I have a feeling that some people are going to appreciate these. The color alone. All right, X9, y'all. Da-doom. Da-doom. All right. So these are dyed and stabilized turquoise. So this is not super high quality. No, I shouldn't say that they're low quality, but I will say that they're dyed and stabilized. Stabilizing is good because turquoise is chalky, and it's kind of a soft mineral. So the stabilization keeps it from cracking and smashing. So that's a good thing. They impregnate it with resins under high pressure, and then it makes the stone stronger. It's kind of like when they do that with wood. It makes it so that it's like super durable, so that it's not all like porous and janky. But the color definitely has been augmented. They add a little extra to that, and that makes it real blue. So this is not a natural blue turquoise. This has been dyed, but you know you're paying dyed prices. So this is $1.50 instead of $8 to $10 a piece. It's $1.50 a piece. That's the difference. The main difference is because I have some that are similar to this. They're hand carved in Afghanistan, and they were uh, genuine, turquoise, and those ones were not inexpensive. So these are, they have the look of being expensive, but they are actually very affordable. So, um, Marianne's is only 6:30 there, and it's light until about 9:58, and then tomorrow is not a work day. So you're fine then, but everybody else maybe they'd be like nodding off and stuff, and so I don't want them to get in trouble. All right. So that is X9, $1.50 each, dyed stabilized turquoise, and they're carved flower beads. I love these. So pretty. Alright. Let me see how many is that. 6 of those got claimed. And let's see. Another 2 of 9 got claimed. So that's 8. Let me see. Oh, and 5 of them got claimed. So I think we have 2 left. I don't know. I got one eye up, one eye down. All right, we just got one more stone of this kind. Ooh, that's a lovely one. All right. Ooh, let there be light, y'all. I got the fan aimed at me. So here you go. All right, this is X10, and I got 18 of these available. And these are red snowflake obsidian, I believe. And it's not really obsidian though. Did y'all know that? They call it that, but it's actually a jasper. But it's got this beautiful kind of mottled, kind of a rusty pinky red color and some gray and black. A little bit of pink in there. And let's see. I sold 8 of number 10, X10, and 2 more. So that leaves 8 available of X10. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That's X10. If you're interested in claiming this, please send us an email at info@allegorygallery.com. And if you want more than one, please let us know. All right, that's X10. $1.50 each. Oh, Charlie's watching. Hey, Charlie. On the Instagram. Hopefully the feed is okay. It's a little bit blurry. I've got the Instagram feed open for me to monitor the comments, and it's a wee bit blurry on my end. So If it's blurry where you are, I would recommend heading over to either Facebook or YouTube and checking it out over there. Charlie says, hello, I'm watching on the YouTube as well. Oh, good. All right. So this is X11, was 16, now 14. I got 5 of these available. I know some of y'all love the tiger's eye. Some of y'all got some of that tiger's eye last night, and this would go well with it. Now, these are a tumbled kind of simple cut. They're faceted, so they let all that color through. In there, the little chatoyance in there, they're giving you a little peekaboo. And these are really lovely. It's got a lovely kind of caramelly color to them. These are a lovely golden tiger's eye. And they're only $14 a strand, y'all. So, Ann says, that tiger's eye is a beautiful cut. Thank you. I agree. I like it because it's faceted and has those kind of like points of light and stuff, but they're not super sharp because sometimes you get stuff and then it's real extra pretty, but then you go and put it against your skin and you're like, ooh, this is gonna cut somebody. So I like how it's a little bit tumbled, and then you still get that quality of the facets without them being like razor fine. So this is X11. It's $14 a strand. I have 5 strands available. All right. Oh, Fireweed and Freeze watching. Howdy. Our Johnstown friend. All right. So I got these. They're lovely. That's X11, $14 a strand. Fireweed and Freeze says, hi. Hello. Hopefully you're having a great week so far. Everybody having a good time. What y'all eating for dinner? I forgot that. Um. Oh boy, William, are you watching, William? William, are you here? I feel like I'm doing like a séance. You know how they're like, if you are here, make a sign. Um. Anyways, it's gonna get interesting. We're gonna have salad tonight, I guess, because we got lettuce. All right. X12. We're gonna have crisp and salad. Ooh, I love these. These are the same cuts. Cheryl said, William, get Andrew some ice cream. Correct. But you know what else? We're gonna need something that's gonna stick to the ribs because the ice cream is not gonna do it. So we're gonna have to think of something real quick. All right, y'all. This is some Amazonite. And they don't have the black. You know how sometimes the Amazonite they call it black and gold. That's a lower quality that they just made it fancy talk, which I like too. You know, don't get me wrong, but I like it when it's more blue like this. I don't know if this is showing up to y'all. The blue, that pale blue green, that is the Amazonite. Let me see if this is gonna work. Look how gemmy juicy these are. These are the same cuts as the tiger's eye, but an Amazonite. Hot diggity dang. This is X12, was 16, now 14. Marion said, I had a burnt pork ends and rice for lunch and cheesies for dinner. That sounds good. I don't actually know what burnt pork ends is. Is that, I don't know, is that like the ends, like a capicola, the front and the back? Or is it like the tips, like beef tips or whatever? All right. Or is that like a pulled pork? All right. So this one, X12. Let me see. I got a couple. Let me see. One for X12. So there's only 3 left. Let me see. What we else got? Anybody else? Somebody's starting from the beginning. Oh, good. All right. So this one, X12, only $14 a strand, y'all. That beautiful cut. I like that cut. Simple cut, but in Amazonite. I like that color combination station. And pretty good pieces. Not a lot of, discoloration or filler. All right, here go. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? I'm not. X13. Blue Aventurine. Ooh, boy. I like it, y'all. I like it. Whoa. These rondelles, I'm interested in this story. This has a beautiful kind of denim. If I was calling this something, if I was going to name it like a painting, I'd probably call it my favorite jeans. That sounds not that great. Broken jeans. No, that's not that good either. Jeans I wore a lot and love a lot. No, that also does not sound good. But the color is spot on. Take a look, y'all. This is a lovely shade of blue. X13 was $18, now $16. I got 4 of these available. All right. I sold 1, so now there's 3. This kind of looks like a little bit like kyanite. A little bit. Not as chatoyant though. Charlie says, I'm on a budget for a little bit, but I want to see everything. Me too. Look how pretty. All right. X13, $16 a strand. I love these rondelles, useful shape. Let's see what the size. About 8 millimeter by, what's this one? Let me do. About 8 by 4, about. So on this side is about 8. And then this side is 4. Now this one here, I'm guessing that it's been dyed and stabilized. That's my guess. Sylvia says, what size are the X13? Oh, I didn't even see you ask that, and I measured them for you. It's like I knew in the universe. I felt it in the force. All right, here you go. X13. $16 a strand. Only one of those got sold, 2 of those. Only 2 are left. William said, just got out of class. What am I supposed to pick up? Dinner. Because I think we have like 1 scoop of that mushroom pasta left, and that's not going to feed both of us. We did go for lunch. I have some maybe leftovers of that. All right, this is X14, $14. Rose quartz, and this is a pinky pink. This like is Technicolor, probably dyed. I'm not 100% sure. These ones about 8.3. What kind of size is that? 8.1. So I bet they're trying to aim for 8. 8 millimeter rounds. You're gonna do the mala of healing. Here you go. Here you go. The bubblegum mala of healing. You're going to go in your Barbie dream house and put this on and then chant. And then you're going to have all the Barbie trauma disappear. Marion says, one that doesn't tempt me. Phew. Oh, good. I thought that you'd like this. Your favorite color. All right. So we got this here. Go. This one is X14. Got 4 strands of these available. And then that's it. That's it. Then there's no more. Let me see. Did I sell even one of this? Did I even sell one of this business? You know, I sold a bunch of this X13, but not even one of this X14. Go away, little stray. Go back with your healing heart energy. Oh. See, that's why y'all like William. He doesn't try to guilt y'all to do it. I will say that the more things you get, the more gas money we have for our trip that we're leaving in not that long. All right, y'all. I'm going to cover this up just for a little second. Get ready, y'all, because this is a beautiful. I was thinking about keeping this one because, you know, I love me some carnelian. This was 32. We mark this down to 28. There's one of this available. And prepare yourself for the juicy fruit. Juicy fruit. Whoa. Are you feeling it? Look at all that juiciness. It's got that kind of glowy action. Ooh, 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 says Cheryl. Correct. I agree. This one, extra beautiful. I love them. These large pebbles. They're not pebbles, but they're like a tumbled stone. And it seemed like a long strand, too. Yeah, this is an extra long. Look. This one, that's 12. Let me see. 12. That's like a 16-inch strand there. You know, that's the old-timey way. Because nowadays, it's like, oh, a full strand is 14 inches. All right, this one got claim. Thank you. I approve. I like this strand. It glowed at me. I was like, Marion says, don't tempt me anymore. I have lots of carnelian to use before I buy more. Well, there may or may not be some carnelian coming up. Not directly so, but coming up. So gird yourself. All right, y'all. These ones is not even double. This is like triple, quadruple length strand. These are big. Right. X16, 38. You can be like 38. Everything else is like $1. Well, this one's because it's extra long. All right, I got 3 of these available. Doo-doo. Are you feeling it? Oh, my word. Be still my beating heart, y'all. I love this one. This is called Russian Amazonite. This is a big chip. And look, it just keeps going and going and going and going. All right, that's probably a 36-inch strand. A little over $1 an inch. Take a look at that. Take a look at that. What? Oh my word. Oh my word. If these on sale, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up and make them into shorter strands because I know that's a lot for one strand, but you get a lot on this strand. If you want this stone, here you go. Look at this. Here's some more. Whoa. It's got those beautiful white striations. And this beautiful kind of tealy green color. Whoa. Suzanne said, more than fair price. Look, it fills the whole screen. I got the wide angle set. There's still some that get chopped off. Look at that. All right, that's this. 3 of them available. Let me see. Did anybody claim? I got 1 claim, so there's 2 left, y'all. 2 left. All right, I'm gonna go and put this one away. Russian Amazonite, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color. Look, I feel like it's like channeling my heart. I don't know. I'm starting to free associate. It's making me speak in tongues, y'all. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. What's next? I should have got a drink for myself because my throat is dry like the Sahara. You know it's the fans blowing on my throat chakra. All right, here go. X17, only $16. Was 18, now 16. And this, if you got any of those flowers, these would go well with this. This is that pink lepidolite. And it's got that pink color. That salmony, kind of brownish pink. Kind of got a waxy finish. Not super high polish, but also not super matte. And then it's got a little bit of that green. Isn't that wild? It's almost kind of akin to like that Stitch Tight. But instead of purple, it's a pink. And I have 4 strands of this available. X17, only $16 a strand. And you know what? They're all good. Look, I kind of like this flavor when it's got the dots. Let's check it. Doot, doot, doot. Like it. All right, y'all. I got this. This is X17. This is a stone you don't see a lot. You know, it just isn't something that you see a lot of. So it's kind of unique. I like it. You know, if you like Unikite, then you may like this. I just did like an Amazon where they go, if you like this book, then you may like this one. And hopefully they know what you're talking about or what they're talking about. Because sometimes you're like, huh? But a lot of times they actually pretty are. All right, X17, $16, 4 of them available. And so far, no claims on those. So there you go. Yeah, let's go and get some more. Where I'm gonna dig, get some more. What are we gonna get? All right, so I'm going to ask you if you're interested in this. Do act quickly, but also hold up because there's 2 colors and they're kind of similar, but they're also different. So we didn't want to put the 2 colors in one lot because they are that different. But we also, we kind of went back and forth about splitting them up. But so we ended up splitting them up. Now you have these great big sodalite. This is X18. I have 2 of these available. There's these great big ones. These are the dark ones. I feel like I'm talking about like something different. The dark ones. And here are the light ones. So if you're interested, I'm going to show you both so you can see it side by side. All right, so this one, X19. And these are the lighter ones. But they're different, right? I'm not tripping, right? You can see the difference, right? This is sodalite. And you got the dark. And you have the lighter one. I mean, under this lighting, that's not the best. Maybe if I put it over this armchair. All right. So you can see this is X19 on the left. And then this is X18 on the right. So if you're interested, this is so light. I love this deep, intense kind of blue color. You got two flavors. X18, you get one strand that's 16 a strand. This is beefy. This is not light. This is beefy. This is nice. Got good and ample girth to it. All right, this one X19. Somebody said they were reading the True Blood, or were they listening to or watching them or reading them? Because then there's ample plenty. That's when I laughed myself hoarse when Suki's describing something as the ample plenty, and I said correct. Good job, Eric Northman. All right, this one here X19, and that's this one, the light. Let's see, somebody claim one of the X18. Thank you. There's only one left of them dark. And this one here, the light X19. Both those are available. All right. So, what y'all eating? What y'all watching? We started watching this Dead Boy Detective Agency on the Netflix. Though William and I both keep nodding off, so I don't know how much we're actually catching. All right, y'all. X20, $5. All right. Are these pearls? No, they're not. What? You got a pacemaker, don't get this business. I don't know. I don't actually think it'll do anything, but I'm just gonna, be careful. All right, so this is hematite, magnetic hematite that has been coated in a pearlescent finish. Whoa. These are a beautiful gold color. They look just like freshwater pearls. And then they kind of do this. That's how you know that they're hematite. They're kind of magnetic. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm going to track that good luck to you. But if you have a pacemaker, maybe you don't get this. Because it is magnetic. All right. So this is X20. How big is this business? Let me check. This says 7.6, 7.5, 7.5, 7.8, 7.7. So it's about in between 7.5 and 7 and 8. Right? This one, X20. This gold color. This pearlescent magnetic hematite. I got a couple different colors, so if you on the fence about this one, wait up until you see the other ones. All right, we only got 10 more lots available tonight that we're going to do. So I'm going to give you the heads up. All right, here we go. Katie over on Instagram. So we started rewatching Stranger Things from the beginning. Highly recommend. Yeah, you know why? Because I can't remember. That's the other thing. We binge watch things, and I was like, oh, I love to binge watch things. But also the binge watching does not bode well for the retention in my mind. So I feel you. I may have to rewatch some of that business. Like the Bridgerton, I don't remember seasons 1 or 2. I'm like, I kind of remember, but not really. But then I'm excited. June 13th, I'm gonna be on the Netflix watching Penelope and Colin get up to no good. I saw a very funny video today about how it was a little bit raunchy, but I laughed myself hoarse. All right, so this one here, X21, not $7, $5 your price, one available. You got this peach keen, kind of pinky, shell pearl pink up in here. This pearlescent, but it's that magnetic hematite. What? $5. What? I'm talking to you. Hello, and welcome to our program this evening. Marianne says she's not watching much at the moment besides YouTube. Amanda says, I'm watching Vera. Oh, that sounds good. That's a one detective, right? Cheryl says, I was catching up on Bridgerton this week. I like that show a lot. You know, some people, they're like, oh, it's not historically accurate. It's made up, y'all. There's real, based on real characters, but it's made up. It's complete fiction. Not maybe complete, but mostly fiction. And yeah, you know what? In the made up realm, you can do whatever you want, right? So here you go. This one here, X21, $5. Let me see. Did anybody claim this? X20 got claimed. X21, people like, that shell pink would be perfect with cameos or wedding jewelry, but I don't know. And so I started watching Call the Midwife. I'm late on the game. You know, we started watching that, and we did not make it all the way through. And I heard it's really good, but there are some episodes where I was bawling my eyes out, and I was like, I do not know how I feel about this. I was like, I can't keep going every week because we were watching it week to week, and yeah, that some of that was like heart wrenching. So if you're, if you're also lots of blood. So if you're squeamish, that's not a good one. Aaron said, then you have a lot of smiles, laughs, and tears to look forward to, Anne. Suzanne said, not watching, reading. What are you reading, Suzanne? Anne says, yes, it's quite a tearjerker a lot of the time, heartwarming. Chummy is my fave. Me too. I always thought that she'd make a good companion for the doctor or be the doctor. But sometimes I like it when like Donna Noble is one of my favorite characters in Doctor Who. And even though she's Dr. Donna, I still kind of like it when they don't put all the funny on the doctor. Because sometimes, depending on who it is, it kind of, it's like, okay. I get a little bit where I'm like, too much. Too much. But people say that about me too. So, anyways, there you go. Marion says, Bridgerton, 95% fiction. That's what I'm talking about. So, I mean, you can do what you want. But people were like, that's not historically accurate. How come they can't pick this one and this one? And then I was like, maybe you don't need to be making those kind of comments where anybody can read them. But anyways, here you go. These are beautiful. X21 still available. Amanda says, yes, Vera is a detective. Suzanne says, books on Tudor England. That's cool. And said, I just finished Trevor Noah's book, Born a Crime. Very interesting. I don't think I've heard that one. I'm listening to the Encyclopedia of Fairies by Emily somebody. I got one of the library books and I didn't realize it was a part 2. And so I had to use my Audible credit on part 1. And I'm trying to get through I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I don't want my library book to expire because I waited forever to get it. All right, so this is X22. Be going lime, y'all. This one here. Katie says, exactly. It's crazy how much we forget. Correct. I was like, did I actually watch this? I was like, I have vague recollections of their costumes and stuff and some of the talk, but like some of it I was like, I don't know. Usually I'm pretty good about that. But lately I've kind of gotten a little bit more distracted when I watch shows because we've been trying to like work and do stuff at the same time. So, anyways, this is X22. Here, let's go measure this business again. Oh, these ones is, well, I was going to say 8. These are, some of them is 8. It's between 7.5 and 8. And these are the pearlescent hematite, and they're magnetized. See how they stick in? Good for drawing. Good luck to you, right? X22 was 7, now 5. One available in this green color. Rose and Amethyst is watching. Howdy. Marion says, I'm still reading Lost Values by Ben Aronovich. It's part of a series called Rivers of London. Oh, I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it. All right. We've got, I think this is the last of those ones, but that's X23. I got $5. These ones are kind of a pearly white. So it's kind of got those shades of like a subtle grayish undertone to it. This light makes them look more yellow, but they're not in real life. They're more of like a silvery color. But we've got William's watching. He said, love that green. Where are you, William? Are you hiding in the house so you don't have to go on the live? Is that what's happening here? Is that what's happening? He's going to hide from me. All right. So that's X23, only $5. One available. And that's what we got. All right. Marion says the main character is a police officer who practices magic and dates a river named Beverly. That kind of sounds familiar. That sounds like it's up my alley. Is it like the Dresden Files? I like those books. All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? That was X23. All right, y'all. We're going to do X24. Who's ready? All right, not me. My voice is gone. I don't know why I'm getting crazy. All right, this is X24. Was $10, now $8. I got one of this. William says, stopped at Dollar General, but they're closed, heading to Walmart. Oh, boy. We're going to have an interesting dinner if that closed. It'd be fine. You know, I can make something out of nothing. This is Aventurine. This green one here, you got some speckles. Here, go look. They're great big rounds, too. I like them, how big they are. These ones is about 10 millimeter rounds of green aventurine. Marion said, maybe a little like Dresden Files. You know, the author of that, he's always trying to make Harry Dresden naked. And every book, he's like in a towel that like falls off. or trying to battle some kind of demony thing, and then they're like, it blew his clothes off. But then they don't actually like do a lot of stuff. So anyway, and then the guy who reads it, he played Spike on Buffy. And he is real low, and he starts talking like this. That's when you know that it's like sexy time gonna happen, because he's going. And I was like, do what? Turn it up for Grandpa over here. You don't have to mumble whisper at the sexy time. Be proud of it. You're getting paid. I think that's when they say that the voice gets husky. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. Beyond X24, $8 for the strand. I got one of this available. This one not magnetic. This is green aventurine. All right. Maybe the email froze because I don't see anything. It's been like 20 minutes since somebody claimed something. I'm like, am I talking to the wind? Maybe y'all just didn't like the magnetic hematite. Marion says maybe not quite as graphic on the sex part. Are they graphic in that? You know, the one I listened to was that Laurel K. Hamilton. I was like, oh my gosh, I learned something new up in here. And that Sarah J. Mass, I was like, oh, you know, it takes something extra to make me blush. And it did. I was like, oh my word. I keep looking for them because they're hilarious. But there's that core of thorns and shadows, or thorns and something or another. And they get this fairy court, and they go in there, and then I was like, oh my word. And the newest one, they have sometimes people read little excerpts on the Instagram, and oh my. And they're like, we're not exaggerating. This is actually from the book. This is a real excerpt from the book. And I was like, I done learned something. Learning and growing every day. All right. Who likes stars? I do. Marion says, definitely not as graphic as Laurel. Yeah, her books are a little bit. Depends on, I like some of them, but some of them I don't like. They couldn't do anything else but the sexy time. So anyway, stars. I got 4 strands of this. This is a synthetic hematite. So it's not magnetic, see? But it looks like it's got. Sorry, y'all. Didn't mean to blow out your eardrum holes. I got 4 strands of this synthetic hematite. It's $4 a strand. And these ones, let me get this one. Let me get this caliper out. It's 8.6. Let me see if I get what this one. 8.8. Maybe I don't know how to use this. 8.5. 8.6. Alright, so we're gonna go with it. Looks like it's zeroed out. 8 point something. Sylvia says, bless you, thank you. Marin says, I gave up on them after a while. Yeah, I listened to one, and I got in the library, and it was like, I thought it was going to be like some charming, like, I've been listening to a lot of cozy mysteries, and they don't do nothing in them cozy mysteries. I mean, they get up right up to the edge of glory, and then they just do not do not trespass up in here. So, when I listen to those cozy mysteries, you kind of get used to them doing that kind of stuff where they're just barely hinting at things. And then you listen to that one, and then you're like, holy smokes. I done got education. All right. X25. I see a couple of claims for that. Thank you. I see 2. I see 1. I see that. All right, they're sold out. X25 sold out. Now, don't worry if you miss X25. I have some smaller stars, because you know I love the stars, and they're also the synthetic hematite. I like hematite, but it is a little bit heavier, so you just kind of have to go with it. The Bead Hobby Shop is watching. Howdy. All right, X26, $3. Here you go. Now this one here, let's see if I can get this. 6.3. I feel like I'm in like a gymnastics thing where they're calling out the scores or something. 6.2. All right. Let's just say 6. So stop shaming myself on the TV. What's this one? 6.2. So about there, y'all. All right. X26, $3 each. I got 5 of these available. I just got 4 of these available because somebody claimed one. Marion said, I loved her first novel, but they got to where the stories seem to be mostly about sex scenes. I prefer books with more story. Yeah, I can agree with that. Unless that's what you're looking for, you know. But I like a little bit more story myself. I was listening to these elf books, and basically, they just get new elves, new characters, and then they just get into the times, and then I'm like, oh boy, here go again. And of course, William always walks in, never fails, when they about to get downtown, and they getting busy. They ride an express train to downtown, and then he walks in. He's like, and I'm like, you knew this was gonna happen. It's like you wait outside the door until they're about to do something. Anyway, all right, get ready. X27, $8 only. Holy smokes! I must have been doing something when I priced this. This red tiger eye. Look at these rondelles. Look how pretty. That's high quality red tiger's eye. That's not them leftover scraps. That's got that good color. All right, let's see how big they are. 8.2, 8.1, 7.9. All right, so about 8. So 8mm rondelles by what? By about 5. 8 by 5. There you go. Only $8 for that nice big strand of that red tiger's eye. Man said the Mary Gentry ones, they were similar. Yeah, there were, I can't remember because sometimes I go through those books like potato chips and not a lot sticks, especially when it's kind of, when there's a series of books. I'm not going to name it because sometimes I feel like sometimes the authors listen, which sometimes they do. And anyway, so the one book, there is about 20 books in the series, and I got a deal on them somehow through like Audible where I got like the first 8 for free. So if you read 8 of those books, I feel like you are morally obligated to finish the series, right? And I think that's how they hook you. They give you the first couple of them for free, and then you're like, oh, I want to see what happens to these characters. And then so you listen to like, all these books. Some of those books, they're not really, nothing really happens, like somebody, like some of those cozy mysteries, like somebody like dies, of course, but I don't know. I was like, is this written by AI? Because I don't know. William said $8. Don't worry about it, William. You need to be focused on driving. Don't be monitoring. Did you all see that meme of that girl? She's like, I'm a hustler. I am a hustler. Don't be monitoring how my money come, my money go. I love that one. That was so cute. She put that dude in his place so hard. He looked like he got slapped. All right. Don't worry about it, William. All right, here's another one we're not going to worry about. Avert your eyes, William. It's going lower and lower. Here we go. This X28, $7. Just 7. One available. Carnelian. They're nice. I think these are 6mm. 6mm, I'm guessing. 6.3, 6.2, 6.0. All right, 6mm rounds, carnelian, X28, $7 only. There you go. I mean, I can't even dig a hole for $7, let alone voyage to the center of the earth to get this stone out and then polish it and drill it for y'all. So here you go, $7. Cheryl, this is exactly one that got claimed. Thank you. All right, get ready. We got 2 more left tonight. All right, then we can go into book talk. Basically, all right. X29, $3. Don't look, William. Head emoji explode. All right, this one dyed color something. All right, that's that pretty color. Was $5 now $3. This is extra dyed. This is not natural. A natural thing. There you go. It's real pretty though. I think this is a type of jade, but I don't know. It's so dyed. The dye is stable though, so it's not coming off on the string. It's not coming off on my hands. I tested it. Okay, 6.5. Maybe it's a shot core. Oh well. 6.5. 6.5. Okay, these are gonna be 6.5. Suzanne says it's funny how some stones take to dye and others don't. You know, it's all about the structure. Sometimes the structures are a little bit more tight knit, and they're more porous on a smaller level, so that they soak up that dye real good and nice. And then some of them is too tight, you can't get in. It's like me in my youth time jeans. I just, no matter how hard I try to squeeze myself into them, they just don't fit. So that's like happening with the dye. One time though, the jeans the reason why I tried to squeeze into them is because they were kind of expensive. And so, anyways, I try to do that, and they're these indigo dyed ones. And then I was working up a sweat trying to get into them, and I got real sweaty trying to squeeze myself into these. And let me tell you, who came up with skinny jeans? I don't know who came up with that, but that is like, I don't know, that's a different kind of level of grappling hook up in here. But anyways, I go and try to squeeze them on, and it made the indigo ink run, and it stained my legs blue. So basically, I done turned myself into Papa Smurf and still couldn't fit into them jeans. Anyways, I digress. Ian says hipsters came up with the skinny jean. You know what? They need to not come up with the fashion then. That's the thing. You know what it is? Nowadays, the hipsters is not skinny jeans. It's all like loosey goosey because then they got a little bit more matured in life, and then they're like, oh, guess what? When you squeeze your huna and hena up, it does not feel good, boy or girl. But you know what? Some people they're trying to bring back them high waisted pants, and I was like, whose idea was this? All right, X30. This is the last one of the night. Sandra said, she's rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off. Blue dye from the jeans. This color on, we're going to be experimenting with color on metal. The people at Sawtooth are like, if they see these videos, they're going to be like, did we get a deposit? No. That's just the colorful nature of conversation between friends, right? All right. So 6.3. 6.6, 6.5. This is some more of this colored one. This one is not the same as the other one. The other one is a little bit brighter. This one a little bit darker. You can't see the difference on this. This looks the same on the TV time, but they're actually two different ones. This one is a little bit lighter and a little bit more red base, and this one is a little bit darker and a little bit more blue base. Can you all see that, or is it like when they have the dress? It's the color, and the people have to name the color of the dress. Anyway, so this one, last one of the night, is $3 X30. There you go. All right. Suzanne says it shows. All right, let's do a quick project with stone. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna do some polymer, y'all. Y'all didn't know you were have this, did you? All right, I got these black beads. I don't know what these beads are. Some kind of black stone. I got these from earlier. You know, like that. I'm gonna put that down before I break and shatter them. I got my disc, my tile prepared. Marion said, bonus. Marion says, I've had hands and lower arms dyed blue, but not from jeans. Yeah, that was not the best of times. One time I dyed myself yellow. I got this bath bomb from Union Square, and it's like a anti-inflammatory. At that time, I was working on my feet like all the time, and working as a bar back and a waiter, and going to class. Okay, I got some white clay. I got some ecru. It's nice and hot in here today. We don't have to worry about this not conditioning up real quick. The one day we did it was a little bit chilly, and that we had to like spend all day and night kind of rubbing and grunting and squeezing and trying to get it to go. This is called how you call warm today, so it's not gonna have a problem. It's gonna be one together. It's gonna be the two will become one pretty quick. Anyway, so I got this bath bomb and from the Union Square, and it was an anti-inflammatory, and they put the turmeric in it. And I did not realize that there was turmeric in it because it was like a real pretty color though. But it stained me yellow. I'm like, I'm yellow enough. I don't need to be extra. And it also stained the inside of the tub. And that I had to scrub. I lived in this place called the George Washington Hotel, which is on 23rd Street and Park Avenue. And it's right on Gramercy and Gramercy Park. And they had is an old hotel. I don't even know if it's still there. It's right across the street from Baruch College. And I lived on the 13th floor, but they called it the 14th floor. Which there was also this closet that was across the way from me and was locked. And it had stuck. And so over the time that I lived there, I got a WD-40 out and a butter knife, and I pried it open. And then I kind of, there wasn't anything in there and anything interesting. Just some papers and lots of menus that people had swept under the door. I don't know if you know this, but there's a job that people will get putting flyers in apartment buildings. So they go door to door and slip flyers underneath doors. So, anyways, there's a bunch of those kind of things underneath the closet door, even though it was clearly a closet. And then when I was moving, I forgot these two paintings were hanging up on the wall, and I could not carry them. So I put them in that closet. So, somebody may have found them at some point, but or maybe they're still there. Who knows? It's probably been renovated and turned into multi-million-dollar apartments at this point, but maybe they're still there, hidden in the secret closet that goes to nowhere. All right. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm just conditioning the clay. What I'm looking for is I want this to be all one color. I don't want this to be two colors. I want this to be one color because that means that it's been thoroughly mixed. Normally, I have a pasta machine. It's motorized and it goes zzz, and then I don't even have to think about it. I just put it in there and kind of smush it down so I don't break the motor. But then just fold it over and run it through. And let me tell you, it makes your life a lot easier when it comes to conditioning clay. These are fairly new packs, so I'm not terribly worried that they need a ton of conditioning. I just always make it a habit to condition the clay beforehand so that it's nice and supple and it's not going to crack later. Now, because I'm going to put inclusions in this, normally if it's a glass inclusion, I'm not too particular about it. I just put it in the oven, ready, set, go. 275 for 1/4 inch thickness they say it used to be 15 minutes for a 1/4 inch thickness, but it's now 30 minutes per 1/4 inch thickness. They doubled the time, which I kind of did anyways. So they probably caught up to my talk feeling. All right. Here we go. Almost there. All right. So, anyways, with stones, and since I don't know exactly what the stones are, I have to be a little bit more careful with this. Now, there's a couple different things that you can do to make it not get the thermal shock. Because sometimes certain stones are very susceptible to thermal shock. So when I put this into the oven, I'm going to actually put this in a cold oven and gently ramp it up to the temperature that I want to reach, which is 275. That means it's not going from like a cold room into a hot oven and then from a hot oven into a cold room. I'm going to kind of gently taper it. I'm also going to kind of create an insulation around it um, with some aluminum foil, and I've got a little lid for my. It's actually a bath bomb mold. Speaking of bath bombs, and sometimes I'll put it over top of it in case I don't want to tent it. The reason why I do that is because when polymer cures, it off gases. And when it off gases, it can sometimes leave a residue on the inside of your oven. So whenever you start up your oven, it will have that smell of curing polymer. Which, if you're eating from that, then that's not always ideal. Also, when you're cooking, also not ideal. But anyway, so here we go. So this is mostly conditioned. I'm going to go and squeeze it using the palm of my hand. I'm going to press it nice and firm. And I'm going to get all that I'm doing what they call wedging. And this is getting some of the air bubble compressing them. And then I'm going to pull off a chunk. I like to reserve that for my projects. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bust out some tools. I've got some round nose pliers. I've got some cutter, and I've got some chain nose pliers. And what I'm going to use those for is for some wire. I found the sterling silver wire, and I was going to use that because I thought I didn't have any other wire, but I'm actually going to use this copper wire. It's 22 gauge, and that's going to make it a little bit more affordable instead of me just putting willy-nilly putting that in there. All right, so I'm going to cut off a good and healthy amount. And so this is going to be, about a little less than maybe 3.5 inches, 4 inches, about that much, however many that much is. All right, and then I'm going to cut off 3 of these segments of rigid wire. This wire is dead soft, but you could use half hard. I probably wouldn't use the hard wire because then it just makes it hard to manipulate it and it's just harder on your hands. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my round nose pliers. I'm going to bend the wire over. I've created a little paper clip shape. I'm going to put this back in and I'm going to twist this around until it makes a loop. And then I'm going to use this to just wrap this around. Now, I'm not being particularly careful at all. That's okay. You'll see why I'm actually making this in a second. All right, I'm going to find my bead here and slip this on. And then I'm going to make a loop over on this side as well. Again, I'm not being super careful. If you wanted to use your fingers for this, this is one of the ones I would say you probably could because you're not actually going to see any of this wire in theory. That's the hope. That's the plan. That's the ambition of the day. That this is going to be a sneaky thing that you're never going to know about it. It's going to be your down low wire, your side piece wire. Anyway, I'm going to put this in. Again, I'm not being super careful, but that turned out pretty decent. And I'm going to just wrap this around on this side. And I always get in the habit of using my tools just because, you know, if you get out of the habit of doing it, then you're going to get out of the habit of doing it. So I always just try to use my tools. Even if I could probably manipulate it with my fingers, I like to use my tools so that I don't accidentally make micro cuts on my fingers. All right, so I'm going to repeat that. I'm just going to make 3 of those. These real loosey-goosey style wire wrap loops. And then they create kind of like wire wrap dangles. Notice I've given myself an ample plenty to work with, including the loop. So there's a reason why I only do one side. I don't wrap the whole side. One of the reasons why is because if you wrap all of this all the way down, guess what happens? You run out of wire, maybe potentially. And then you have sadness in your heart because then you have to take it all apart. And then there's just infinite sadness like that. So You just don't want to mess with that. Just do it like I'm showing. You stop about, I do like 3 turns and then stop. But since this side we already know what the wire situation is going to be like, you can just wrap this one all the way around. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that when a lot of people wire wrap, they kind of hang on for dear life, like they can never get a grip on that wire ever again. And so they make some chewed up looking wire. And I was like, what? You're just going to have to trim that off because that looks a hot mess. And I don't actually say that because, there are other ways of giving constructive criticism. But yeah, sometimes the people they hold on to this and they never let go. And then it makes it chewed up and you have to snip it off. And if you're working with precious metals, like you get that gold wire out, you can melt it down so it's not the end of the world. But then that's another step you got to do. And making wire is not easy, let me tell you. There's people that are like, oh, I make my own wire from scratch. I was like, do you also churn your own butter? Because, you can buy that and it's not that much more expensive. But I guess if you're working, and you don't have expedited shipping or whatever in your life, and you like to make everything from scratch, because I know some people, they love to make everything from scratch. Like, they're like, oh, weave my own fabric for my own homespun for my clothes. And I was like, that would be nice, but also I really don't have time for that in my life. But if you have time for that and that's something that brings you joy, then go ahead and do what makes you happy. But anyway, so you make the wire, you have to pour an ingot and then hammer it down and then smash it into shape. And then there's a bunch of running it through the rolling mill and then annealing it and then running it through again, annealing it again and running it through. And then if you get small enough, then you can put it through a draw plate. If you have a bench, you can just pull the wire, and it's got these like pliers that grip on for dear life, and it pulls it through the draw plate, which basically looks like a paddle that has holes in it. The first time I saw that, I was like, what are we doing with this? And they're like, that's for the wire. I was like, oh, good. I was like, because I don't need to be initiated or hazed in any way. So anyway, there you go. That's life. So then, you pull through the draw plate, and then you can just keep going and going and going and going until you reach the size you want. So that's about a 3 to 5 hour process. Maybe faster if you're like real fast and efficient, which I've never been called that. So, anyway. So if you're working with precious metal wire, then maybe you don't want to go through that. So make sure you don't waste your wire and then you don't have to deal with that. All right. So I made these 3 wire wrap links and I've got this blob of clay. I'm going to take this blob of clay and I'm going to make it even smaller. And then I'm going to roll it into a ball. I'm going to roll it like this. I'm going to do it behind the camera because I keep knocking into it. So I'm using these little indentations in my hand. And then when I get to a certain point, I'm going to kind of roll it. And it's going to make this kind of ovally flat egg shape, and then kind of flat. So not really an egg shape. All right. I'm going to press this down. I'm going to have a shape like that. All right. So I'm going to push my thumb or my forefinger in and create the eyeball hole. And then I'm going to put it like this, and you're going to have 3 impressions in there. And then I'm going to take and pinch this like so until you get it like that. And then I'm going to go on either side and pinch it like that. Now I'm also, while I'm doing this, I'm going to take this blob of clay and I'm going to roll it out as well. I've got a ball here and I'm going to roll it into kind of a suppository shape and then flatten it. And while I'm flattening it, I'm going to arch it up. All right, so I've got kind of like this spread out boomerang shape. All right, so I'm going to press this into the spread out boomerang shape. And then I'm going to take one of my tools and I'm going to blend this seam real quick. And I feel like that's one of the keys of the way that I sculpt is just blending. Notice I'm not really being particular on the other side. I actually got really way distorted, but that's fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently bend these wires so that they are coming out like that. All right. They're kind of bent and going like this shape. I'm going to do that with all of them. All right. I'm being careful not to chip my stone beads, but you know, not too careful, but not too sloppy. All right. And then I'm just going to embed these into the clay. Now, if you need to kind of do some finagling, you can do that. You can you're more than welcome to finagle that. If you need to stretch it out a little bit, you can stretch it out. But we're embedding the this is how we're embedding the beads in this. Now the reason why I'm not just sticking the beads in is that if I do that, then after it's baked, it's going to pop right out. So unless you have a way that you're creating a lip around this, it's going to create issues for you. All right. So I'm going to make these little balls. I'm going to roll those between my thumb and my forefinger and get that nice and gummy. Normally with the clay, you don't like to overwork it because it gets too mushy. But I find that this is how you get kind of into those wire crevices and that really sticks in there and really gets in there, right? So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to mush that clay up real nice and good. And then we're just going to put it over the wire like it wasn't even there. What wire? There you go. That wire. No wire. What wire? All right. I'm going to repeat this process for all of my wire wrap links. All right. Get that nice and mushy. Put that right on top of that wire and embed it. The reason why I'm mushing this up is so that it really gets in those nooks and crannies and will grip on for dear life and won't let go. That way you can be assured that when you're messing around with this sculpture, as you're using it as a brooch, a pin, or whatever, it's not going to come loose. All right, that's the plan. You don't want this to come loose. You don't want to have to pop that out and then super glue it later. All right, so here we go. I'm smushing, and then I'm hiding the wire. All right. So this is also a time where you can figure out some kind of bail situation. You can definitely do that. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm kind of smashing the clay to fit around my stone bead shapes. All right. I'm not being too particular right now. I am going to go in with my tool. This is a clay shaper tool. And I'm going to smooth out some of those kind of wonkadoodle ridges. All right. I don't see that's, I think, the difference between something that looks a little bit cleaner and something that doesn't is you spend a little bit more extra time cleaning the edges and smoothing things in and making those transitions nice. Now, you don't have to. I mean, there's lots of people who have kind of a rough and ready style, and that's their jam. So and they're like, well, why I got to worry about that? You don't if that's not your, your flavor. All right. So I've got these two stone beads, these round ones, and I'm going to turn them on their side. So they're not going to be faced up like this because you're going to see the hole. So I'm going to turn them on the side and just push it into the clay. All right. I'm going to repeat that process on this side right here. I'm going to push them down relatively deep because I do not want these to pop out. Also, I don't want them to look buggy eye. I don't want them to look like ET, you know. Um, so I'm gonna go and push them in. Now, if you push it too far, it's gonna break through the other side of the polymer clay, and then you're gonna have a hole. That's not the end of the world. You can always patch that hole, but it is an extra step that you're gonna have to do. All right, so I've got this kind of general face shape that I've made. I've embedded my flowers. They're not going anywhere. They're nice and good and embedded in there with a wire. So that makes it nice and sturdy. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of smooth up some of this excess clay. So it's nice and smoothish. Again, I'm going to kind of pull that up and make it pointy. I'm also going to reinforce that. So this is an impression, and this is where the lips and chin and all that business go. I'm going to do the eyes right now and secure those in place. So if I leave them just like this, maybe they'll live, maybe they won't. What I mean by that is that when the polymer clay bakes and cures, if there aren't places for it to grip on, like in the holes, that's one thing, it can pop out. So if you don't have that, it's like a smooth shape, then the only way that you can do that is make a lip, and you're making your own bezel out of polymer clay. So I made this little coil, and I'm going to squeeze it on both sides. And that's going to form my upper eyelid. I'm going to repeat on the other side. And put that down. And then I'm going to do on the lower lid as well. Now, as we've talked before, the thing that will differentiate you from your competitors is taking a little bit of time to smooth things down. Now, what I'm going to do is I want those seams to be a little bit pronounced in the inner eyelid. Oh, Linus is watching. She says, this reminds me, I never finished my bat. Well, bust it out. Maybe, if you can find it. Maybe not. Do what you want. All right. So I'm going to take that clay shaper tool. I'm going to smooth that edge down on one side only, the outside rim. And the reason why I'm only doing that is because I want that inside this part to not be crushed. I want it because when you look at an eye, and particularly an eyelid, you've got that kind of you've got that shape. So I may have to adjust it, but I don't want to smash it down. because that is removing some of the volume and definition that we're working with. Here, I'm going to zoom in on this so you can actually see this. It'll look real rough right now. That's okay. We're okay with that. In our world, that's all right, because we have a lot of work to do before we're done. All right. Now, here's the thing about that we're going to talk about real quickly: symmetry. Now, I know some of y'all are going to be groaning and they'll be like, "Ugh, symmetry. Why we got to do the symmetry?" Well, guess what? When you have a face that is symmetrical, it is more pleasing to the eye. Did y'all know that? Now, otherwise, if your face is going to be asymmetrical, make it really asymmetrical. But if it's slightly off, it will look slightly off. So what I like to do is I'll look at it and I'll hold this up and I can use this as a tool. You know when they do this in the movies and you're like, what the heck are you doing? Or what the heck is she doing? They're going to be holding the brush up, acting all artsy fartsy like. This is actually a measuring tool, believe it or not. You can check and see if something is level. If you see like a big, like when I hold this up, you can see one side is, this side has slightly higher. I mean, it doesn't really matter. That's like real persnickety, but you can kind of balance, you can kind of measure out proportions that way. So there you go. It helps to keep this stationary instead of like holding it up in the air and going like this while I'm trying to go like this, you know? So there you go. All right. So I've got the eyelids. Oh, must be 10 o'clock. The computer went dark. And I'm smoothing the edges. And then I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to shove it up the nose hole. And shove that up the nose hole. I'm going to go in there and just dig around in there. And that's going to create the nostril hole. And I'm going to pinch that up so that that is created the hole. And then I'm going to kind of come around and smooth down this shape. All right. Now, this is way exaggerated. That's all right. We've got more work to do. Don't give up. All right. We're going to take off two more of them little slugs. And we're going to roll them between our thumb and forefinger. Make our little croissant of doom. And we're going to put that on the face. What? What's this? Who's that? Who's that person who got the wild lip injections? There you go. Done. No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth one side of this little slug shape, just like we did the eyelid. And this is forming the upper lip and that cleft above the lip. So I've got this like this, and you're like, what in the Twilight Zone is that? Well, you're going to see. You're going to see. Watch and learn. Watch and see. Mess around and find out. So I'm going to take my tool like this. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to create this little dimple. You usually have a smaller tool, so that was not super effective. But that creates the cleft above the lip. And I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to bring it up like this. I'm going to take the tool and go above like this. And that's going to create the upper lip. That's the upper lip, y'all. Y'all maybe didn't know that, did you? Now you do. So what I'm going to do now is I'll make them a little slug again. Basically, this is called the slug process of sculpting. Additive, subtractive, slug. All right, here we go. We're going to make that crescent roll. We're going to make that croissant. And we're going to put that on underneath. And that's going to make the lower lip. All right. Again, looking a little bit like something Twilight Zone-y. But what we're going to do is we're going to go here and we're going to smooth down the edges on one side. All right. Now, this also is something that I recommend you do in looking at a reference. Even if you're working with a fantastical creature out of your head, sometimes it's good to look at a reference material while you're working, because if you can base your creation a little bit in reality, looking at, even if it's like a dragon and you look at, a bird skeleton, then you can get a little bit of that realism into your piece. And that realism will help convince the viewer that what you're showing them is an actual thing that exists in real life and is somewhat based in real life anatomy. Now, there's a reason why people look the way they do. There are forces around us, such as gravity and, things like nutrition and things like that. All those things have contributing factors to why our bones are shaped the way they are. If we were, it's like that show, The Expanse. Anybody watch that? Where the people that live in the place with the less gravity, they're real pulled out and can't walk and stuff, and a little bit elongated style. Here you go. All right. So we've got this. Look a little bit of a mess, but that's all right. I'm going to kind of smooth these down so it's not too wild. And again, we've got the kind of upper lip. And we're going to work this in, so like we do. We're smoothing things down. And making it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. All right. It also is good when you're studying musculature of the face. If you're going to make something smile or frown, there are things that happen. Like somebody once asked me to paint a painting where they wanted the eyes from one painting or one photograph and the mouth from another. And when I finished it, I did exactly what they wanted. It looks so weird. Because, like, if you are frowning, unless you've had treatments, it affects the rest of your face. So it's not just one area that gets smooth, like one area that is you have to focus on. You have to focus on multiple areas. And that's like reading a face. All right. So I added a little ball here on the tip here, and that's gonna make that. It's gonna form a part of the chin. I know I want some cheekbones because right now there's no cheekbones. So I'm gonna form two balls about the same size. Now, if you're having problems getting your balls the right size, sometimes it helps to make a third ball. And what happens is your eye, when there's an odd number, you can see things a little bit more clearly. And I'm gonna show you this. So that all kind of look the same, but clearly this one in the middle is a little bit larger. So if your idea is to make things symmetrical, then or have it somewhat symmetrical, then I had a little hair in there, so I pulled that out. So I know that when I'm talking about a facial muscle, I've got this. All right. If this is a face, if this is somebody's face, then imagine underneath, this is the skull underneath the face. If this is the eyes, they kind of come like this. And this is your nose. These are your teeth. And your teeth are going to come up like that. And then like that. All right. So when I'm making this, I'm kind of looking. I know there's an eye in here. And I've got the lids. So I'm putting those in there. We did that. We extended the nose. We did that. We put the nose holes. We did that. We put the upper lip. We did that. We put the lower lip. These balls on the side, then the cheeks. We did that. So what else do we have to do? So two things. So naturally, you're going to have the eyes are going to be sunk in. Since we're working in a bas relief kind of situation where this is flat, we have to take that into account, right? So we're not going to get the full dimensionality that we would like, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. So if this face is a little bit rounder, then we have to build up that kind of roundness. If we want kind of a thinner face, you look at this, here's the jaw, and we're building it out like this. Put this, all right? So what's next? To make that illusion, we have a brow. And that will give that feeling that the forehead is a little bit more stuck out than the eyes, which are recessed. So this is going to be a little bit round, and then this is going to be like we're going to add those little slugs here, and that's going to form that face. Okay, as you saw, I kind of went around the nose and the nostrils, and then we put that cleft in, and then we're going to have a recess, so that's going to be a little bit of a shadow in there. And then we'll put the texture of eyebrows. And there we go. So these are going to be black. I know that sometimes is off-putting for people, but you know what? When you have that, I kind of like it because then that looks kind of magical to me. And also, I've got black beads, and that'll work. All right. So then, when we're trying to define this image, then we'll put this in here. Put this down, it's a scowl. Put this up, it's a smile. This, when you push this will move whatever clay you have on here, right? So we want to smooth this down so that these are all the way around. And then we're going to smooth this so that it's a little bit less severe. And we're also going to have this kind of come up like this. And that's going to form this area here, which we'll get to in a second. Now, underneath the lip, there's usually a shadow because there's a protrusion, but there's also a bulge that happens right here. So you kind of have to be careful of that you don't just smooth all of that away, because that's the teeth that you can't see. That's like the canines and stuff in the back here. They kind of create this like a bulge right there. All right. So we've got the forehead. We're going to smooth that over. And then here, usually there's a depression here. So we'll take our tool and we'll kind of push that back. if we add clay, we're going to add it here to that kind of bump on that ridge right there. And then we'll add another little bump on the tip to bring that face kind of up, that nose up. I mean, it depends what kind of nose you want, but that we're going to make it a little bit more pointy. So this is how you kind of sculpt through a drawing process. So we started out with a very general shape, and then we worked more specifically. So we started with our two impressions for the eye, our impression for the lower mouth. We pulled this up. We put the eyelids so those don't pop out. We did the upper lip. We did the lower lip. We did the cleft. We're going to squeeze it, push it to the side. We're going to smooth these balls in and create the cheekbones. See here like this. And then that's the face we're going to make. All right. So I'm going to get my tool out and smooth down the balls on the cheeks. And we're going to be almost, but not quite finished because there's some more details that we have to attend to. But this is going to help raise up the face and create volume where otherwise there would be flat plane. And it's the illusion of volume, I should say, because what we're doing is we are working with illusion. We're working in what's called bas relief, which half of it is flat. Unless you got something where you didn't get up out of the crib, generally speaking, a skull is going to be three-dimensional. This is kind of like semi 3D, 2.5, where we're working flat, but we're also working, somewhat in the round. All right. So I don't want the lips to be so pronounced. So I'm going to soften this up a little bit. And then I'll go and put this like so. Go up through there. That's going to smooth this down. And then also we can add, you can add a little bit of texture if it helps you visualize things. But right now we're working so much on shaping and carving away that shape that if we add that detail, you just have to be okay with the fact that it's going to disappear. If you don't care about that, then you're golden. If you really want that detail right now, you're going to be a little bit sad because as you continue to work your piece, you're going to lose that detail. So as I lift this up, I'm getting a different angle. I see now that this is a little bit high on there. And it's giving it goblin. It's giving that goblin vibe. And what that's called is foreshortening. So if I'm working flat, I can't necessarily see that. So what happens when you work foreshortening, sometimes things will get shorter and sometimes things will get longer. And you just have to kind of play, adjust your angles. So I'm parallel to this. So if this is my face, if this is the board and this is the silhouette that we're working on, my face is also going to be on the same plane. Because if this is put at an angle I'll be sculpting, and it will look kind of funny. Like this part will be shorter and this part will be longer. So I have to adjust my angles every once in a while so I can see it and see what the differences are. There's a really famous sculpture called the Zucconi, and they're in, I believe, Florence, and they were sculpted by, I believe, Donatello. I could be wrong. And they call them the pumpkin heads. And the reason why is because they were moved. These sculptures, the sculptor originally sculpted them to be much higher up. So when you look from down below, from really far below, it looks proportional. However, because they lowered them, they realized that the heads were made larger. And so they call them the zucconi because it's the looks like a pumpkin. The head looks way swole up, like it's got the hydrocephalic time, um, and it looks a little bit odd when you look at it straight up. But when the sculptor designed them, they imagined the viewer was going to be far, far lower. And so the head, which is swell up, would actually look right sized. So you kind of have to play with things like that sometimes. Sometimes you want that extra exaggeration. If you're trying to do something that it looks alien, sometimes you've got to like widen the eyes or make them closer. Do something that's a little bit different to make it look otherworldly. But when you're sculpting and you want to do like a realistic sculpture, for one, I'm not a realist sculptor. I'm not a realist painter. I don't really, my pieces kind of resemble realism in some sense, magical realism, but they are not based in, there are little bits of reality in them, but they're not like, I'm not trying to get them to be like a photograph. I don't want them to be an exact duplicate of that. I want there to be some kind of artistry into that. So that's a little quick little talk about foreshortening and how you can kind of combat that. So if like that is one of those things where like if you want that eye to be a little bit more indented, can go and put this in there like so. All right. So I'm going to flare that out just a little bit and make that little ball. I'm going to add that little ball on the bridge of the nose. I don't want to go too aggressive because then it can kind of get like hawk nose, like a hawk bill, or what they call it. They call it that. I'm not making any judgments on it because I got my own things, but, you know, you do want that to stick out just a little bit. Even though we're working with a fantasy right now, we do want there to be little bits of realism so that it looks, it feels like it could be real. Whether or not it's completely made up, completely fantasy, we want it to kind of resemble like it could live in this world. Now, there's other people out there who have way different sculpting tutorials out there on how to make a face. I taught this class many times all over the country and on the internet. So I'm kind of rusty a little bit. But, it doesn't change that much. So, again, if we take a little bit extra time to smooth things out, we'll be a little bit more successful. I will say if we smooth out too much, what ends up happening is that those details disappear. And the other thing about that is that when we go to paint or add any kind of like antiquing glaze or anything like that. You need something for it to stick onto, and little nooks and crannies help do that. Now I'm just going to open that mouth up just a little bit. I'm also going to insert this in here and kind of give a lift up there. And that creates that kind of little, I don't actually know what that's called in the mouth. But it's that like cheek meat right here. It creates that. And then you will see that this will connect to that, and that will connect to that, and we'll smooth those lines so it don't look like she got the whiskers. And there you go. All right, so I'm going to keep smoothing. And then this is also another thing that you can think about is the shape of a face. What is the shape of a face? I remember maybe in the 80s, there was a whole thing about where you could take a quiz and it would tell you the shape of your face. They'd be like, do your face look like this? Then your face is a square, your face is a heart. And then they would be like, you're an autumn and you're a summer and, winter or whatever. Lena says, I did the eyes on my bat this way with the black beads based on your tutorial. I've taken 2 classes from you where you've taught faces. And no matter how many you do, I always learn more. Oh, good. Well, we're about to go into brow territory. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to take this my croissant of doom. I'm only going to do one side. So I'm going to make a little teardrop. I want to put that right there. I'm going to do the same thing. If I want that to be super even, I can also do that. And then I'm going to put it on this side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm looking at from this angle, and you can kind of see where you need to do this, and then I'm going to smooth down the edges. And this is going to create the brow. And the brow is going to be good for hiding, or not hiding, but creating that illusion of depth. And this is an opportunity also for expression. So look at whenever, those caricature drawers, like on boardwalks and stuff. Generally speaking, what they do is they'll pick 1 or 2 things that like really stand out on a person and then exaggerate them. So if they have big ears, then they make the ears even bigger. Or if they have a scowl, they make the scowl even scowlier. I don't know what that word is for that, but whatever it is, they'll over exaggerate certain facial structures or characteristics. Somebody has bright, big red hair. You better believe that caricature artist is going to add bright, big red hair. All right. So when you're doing this, kind of think about in terms of what do you want to convey with your face. If your goal is to create a specific emotion, look up at images of faces that are angry or are happy or smiling, or have somebody pose for you, and use that to help inform your sculpture. Okay, right now I'm just kind of smoothing any kind of protuberances. Now these eyelids kind of got a little bit out of control. but that's fine. Remember, a lot of these details will get reabsorbed into the clay as we continue to work. All right. And, we have choices here. You can make things a certain way. If you don't like it, then you can always change it. That's the thing. Sometimes I think when people are sculpting, they get so committed to something, or when they're drawing or painting, they get so committed to that they can't see anything for that one thing. And maybe they did a good job like drawing the nose. But if the rest of the face looks wonkadoodle, then that's, you have to think about that. So I worked with an artist named Victoria Khan, and she taught at the School of Visual Arts, and she taught, it was a collage class for illustration. I was not an illustration major, but I wanted to take this class. So I had to beg to go into this class, and I had enough credits because I went to this when I was in high school. I did college credits while I was in high school. So I had enough credits that I could audit that class. And because the illustration classes were weighted differently than the fine art classes, even though I think it was like a 2 credit, even though I needed a 3 credit or whatever, I had enough credits so I could take it. Now, if you don't know who she is the author and artist of the Pinkalicious books. And those were wildly successful. They turned them into Broadway plays and all kinds of stuff. And I think there's a TV show and a movie and puppets, and they're all over. Anyway, so she's real successful now, which is great. But anyways, so one of the things she talked about is murder your darlings. And at first I was like, well, do what? I'm not on the Menendez, what they call them. Anyways, don't murder the darlings or whatever. I was like, what you talking about? And it's basically this idea that while you're working, if you find yourself being too precious with something, then that is the time to act. That's the time to get rid of the things that are too precious. For instance, there are sometimes people get so fixated with a blank surface, like it's so precious with the prep and work on this, like adding layers and layers of gesso, and sanding in between, and doing wet polishes and adding more layers of gesso until it is almost as smooth as marble. And some people, they get to that point and then it's so perfect that they don't want to mess with it. They're like, oh my gosh, I spent all this time, and what if I ruin it? And they call that the fear of the blank page. And you know what? I get it. You don't want to mess it up, especially if you don't have a lot of money and you're investing in supplies, and you don't want to mess it up. I get it. I've been there. But at the same time, what's better? A perfectly pristine blank canvas, or an original creation by you that could not exist otherwise until you mess up that surface? And by mess up, I mean make art. So that's the thing. You got to murder your darlings. So if you get that fear of the blank page or the blank canvas, as they say, get some paint and squeeze it on there, make a stain, ruin the beauty of the perfection of the untouched by touching it. Get in there and make a mark, then fix it. So if I dig a deep gash in this sculpture's face, maybe that's an opportunity to revisit the anatomy underneath it, because maybe I need to look at that. Maybe that's what I do to create that kind of sense of illusion, that sense of realism in there. Or what, I have to, if I mess up, I got to do something about to fix it. So don't be afraid to take chances, take risks, and murder your darlings. Now, if you get in trouble for some kind of crime, do not blame me. This is about making artwork, not about, your significant other or whatever. You gotta not not blame teacher for your crimes. So there's that. So, anyways, there you go. So that's all about a philosophy of how to make, to get kind of better at sculpting or drawing or anything. Sometimes you gotta make a mess to find the answer. And don't forget to look at things from other angles. If you're stuck and you cannot see the way forward, turn your piece around and you'll start seeing different things. You'll start seeing where you miss spots, or you'll start seeing kind of unusual protuberances, or where it looks kind of odd. For instance, you can kind of see a different angle of why some things are more symmetrical and why some things are not. And then deal with it, work on it. You don't have to, because you accidentally hit it with your finger when you first started sculpting, does not mean that you have to live with that until the end of time. You can go back in and change it. You have the power, you have the control. This is your world that you're building. You have the ability to make anything you want. If you can see it in your mind, you can move that from your head to your heart to your hands, and you can have anything you want. I'm getting esoteric up in here, y'all. But it's true. At least I believe that. All right, right now I'm making the tear ducts. And the face is almost done. I got a little bit of smoothing to do around the nose and some of the eyes. I might add some wrinkles or something here and there. And look at it with some fresh eyes. I may set it aside and make some dinner or something and then revisit. But what I am going to do right now, before I get too wild, is I'm going to work on the rest of the headdress, because there's a couple other things. There's another thing like ears. A lot of times people forget ears. They're not my favorite things. I knew somebody who's obsessed with ears, and they made these great big paintings of ears. And they were like really into them, and they were kind of beautiful. They're, if you look at their structure, I just made kind of an ear shape, little bean thing, put them on either side, and then when I peel this up, I'm gonna have to go back and smooth the layer underneath. And that's just so that it's thoroughly combined, because right now it's just touching very slimly along one edge, and it's not actually being held on very well. So keep that in mind. If you don't smooth over and really thoroughly bind that to the other structure, it's not going to be real sturdy, and you're going to pick it up and they're going to fall off, or they're going to pop off later, and then you're going to be like, oh, I have to repair that. So go back and smooth the edges down. Sometimes you can take what's called liquid polymer or some polymer paste, and you kind of glue it in place. There's a couple different artists who do that whenever they're adding something on. That's more of a ceramics technique. Whenever you are adding something on, like a handle or something like that, you're going to do a technique called score and slip. And you just make cross hatches, and then you add a little bit of water or a little bit of slip, which is kind of like runny clay. And then you kind of move them until that clay body attaches to the other one and they don't move anymore. They don't wiggle. So that's how you do the score and slip. With polymer clay, you don't necessarily have to do that. However, you do have to make sure that it's touching, and that you smooth the clay in. Otherwise, it's not. It's going to just pop right off, and then you're going to be done. All right, so let's talk about this headdress. I love these beads. I think they're so cool. I think they give a lot of character. But right now, they look like they're floating into nothing. So I've got this little ball shape that I'm rolling with my thumb and forefinger. Now, I have a little fleshy pad on my thumb. So if you don't have that, then you gotta like do it in the palm of your hand, or do it where there's a little bit of an area that can give. Otherwise, it's just gonna just like kind of smash this, which is fine, but whatever. So I'm gonna smash this ball like I just talked about, and then I'm gonna make a little tear kind of drop shape like this. See this? Teardrops. And I'm gonna put this on here. And I'm going to take my clay shaper and I'm going to go along this edge. I don't want to cover my bead, but I'm going to create that shape, and that's going to make that. All right. And I'm just going to repeat that a lot. And I'm going to try to keep my piece relatively, the pieces I add, I'm not going to have them hang out into infinity and beyond. I want them to kind of conform to the shape that I'm working with underneath it, so that it doesn't actually get caught and then get ripped off, because that can happen. One time I did this one sculpture where I made this ball, and then I made another ball and I just stuck it on there like this. I was like, oh, that's totally gonna work. That did not work, y'all. This little ball went away and went like that. It fell off when it cured. So you just have to be mindful of that. And then when you look underneath and when you turn your piece, you're gonna see where they don't match. And you're gonna have to smooth those seams as well. Okay? Because otherwise it's gonna pop right off, and then you're gonna be like, oh, spent all that time making them leaves, and then now it's into the earth, and then there's no more. Goodbye. So sad. No more. All right. So I'm gonna smooth this in, and I think we're gonna make kind of like a dryad, or like maybe we'll see. That kind of looks like they got some kind of sides don't know, like an anime character or something. I don't know. We're gonna continue. I'm gonna continue adding these little leafy shapes until I'm happy with this overall form that I'm creating. And again, if I don't like something, I can always trim it off. I can cover it over. I can cut it off. And I can start over. Like I said, you're in control. All right. So I'm going to continue adding these. I see a couple people are still watching. Hopefully you're having, this is not completely boring. I know this isn't like super instant gratification. This is something that takes a little bit of time. This is a process, it's not an event. Sculpture is something that, I guess you can make it very immediate, but at the same time, sometimes it's nice to take time to sit with something and see it grow and develop. So often in our lives, we are put into these systems where we have to hurry to do everything. Like I had made a comment earlier about how some people like they make their own clothes and how I don't really have time for that. But I would like to have time for that. It's one of those things where you know it may not be the most practical thing, but at the same time, sometimes practical work is very essential. Like I at the same time, I'm very interested in keeping things where they're doable and you can actually achieve successes as opposed to just always kind of like not. Have you ever met people like that, or are you a person like that where for whatever reason you kind of get into your own headspace and I don't know, you just kind of don't don't have the success that you're looking for. Um, and I think sometimes it's okay. It's one of those things where it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes and to have the joy of doing that. There's a joy in learning from your mistakes. There's a joy in finding a new path. There's something exciting about that to me. Cheryl says, it's fascinating to watch. Someday I'll give this a try. I hope so. I think everybody should do it. I started doing this as a child. You know, we didn't have very much money, and so things like this were not a usual thing. Um, but I had an aunt who she wasn't really the favorite aunt, but she did give us our first box of polymer clay, and we used that to make all kinds of little toadstool houses and miniature food, and so I think that even though she wasn't the favorite aunt, she did get us kind of sculpting. So, and I'm not like an amazing sculptor. I admit that I have limitations in what I do, but I also, I've been doing this long enough that I don't necessarily begrudge myself that, you know, I don't, I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. I see it as a place that I could do more and I could also improve. And I think that's one thing. Like when I'm doing a critique, sometimes people will assume that when I say, "Oh, yeah, you could work on this," that I'm like slamming it and that I'm like, this is terrible, this is garbage. But really, what it is like, when I say like, "Oh, this is all right," but you could do something more, or you just need practice or whatever. It's one of those things where it's not about ruining something or degrading somebody, but acknowledging that there's room for growth. And you have to be careful, of course, because some people, they don't have that thick skin when it comes to receiving criticism. Some people are very sensitive about their work. And if you say anything about it, then they get kind of upset. If anything that's not glowing praise, sometimes people get really upset. And I understand this. I don't like, unless I ask for criticism, I don't want it. And that is maybe my fault, whatever. But it's one of those things where, um, unless I ask for that specific feedback, I don't necessarily want it. And uh, yeah, I don't think people always understand that. They want to like. There's this idea that criticism to be to be honest, you have to be cruel, and I think that's a big thing. Like they're like, oh, I'm only trying to help, and sometimes that's not. I don't need that. Like I used to have these tarot cards and they're so negative. Everything, oh, doom approaches. There you have misery in your life for all times. And like every single thing, there was nothing positive about these cards. They're all negative. And whenever I pulled a card, there's always this doom and gloom scenario. And I was like, finally, I was just like, I don't need this in my life. I do not need this. The cards are pretty, they look nice, but I just get such a bad vibe from them. I don't like it. And so I went and I got this the Wild Unknown deck, and she's so positive that, and she's like, it's not working out right now, but there'll always be a time for when it does, or a solution will come, and maybe that's me being like toxic positivity or whatever. But for me, I kind of need that. I need something in my life that I'm not going to be like dreading it all the time. I don't respond well to that. I don't like that kind of overly harsh negativity because I have that enough in my life. I can be very difficult on myself. I don't need something else to tell me about how I'm not like doing what I'm supposed to do. That I don't respond well to that. I respond well to like rewards and to plan for the future and get excited for things. I thrive off of that. Um, like I get excited. I'm gonna be swept up in the wave of of that. But I don't want to be. I don't need extra bullying from a tarot card deck. So I got rid of that. I was like, bye. No thanks. Anyways, that's probably more than you all ever wanted to know about my woo woo feelings about art and positivity and whatever. But yeah, there you go. That's how I think. That's how I do. Alright, I'm gonna keep adding these leaves, and this kind of is getting a little bit to the point where I don't know. There's something that don't look right, but I think I need some smaller flowers. Maybe I have these little shapes. Maybe I'll put those in there somewhere. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But I've been on for 3.5 hours, which is actually not that bad for us. Believe it or not, you some nights we go until like midnight o'clock. I don't even know what time it is. And I'm William or me are like drained of all energy into the universe times 10. But so that's not too bad. When I looked at how long we've been going, I thought we had been on for like 5 hours. Not in a bad way, but you know, sometimes you just lose track of time. You know, I think the part that I'm losing is like right here. So I need to transition this a little bit. And then I think I'm going to have to do something where the face is a little bit too, I don't know, I got to do something. But I like the idea of adding something like that. And maybe going back in with some smaller kind of something to bring this around. Because it kind of just seemed like stuck in there for no reason. So maybe I'll refine some of these shapes. So instead of like one or two, maybe I'll have one and then kind of embed it down a little bit and make it look a little bit more purposeful instead of like accidental. But we'll see. So do y'all want to keep watching? I know there's not many of you watching right now, but if you want to keep watching, I'll keep going so that I actually finish this. Because sometimes when I get you know, when I get off the camera, sometimes I'll finish a project and then sometimes it goes into the box of unfinished projects because, you know, there's certain things that like I'm not like in love with. Like sometimes I'll pick a color scheme and I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? This looks like a dog got after it and puked it up. And so, you know, if it's like real far gone, I don't want to mess with it. Like sometimes there's a beauty in starting over, and there's sometimes like a beauty in just like not finishing that book that is not good. You know, I know for a long time I thought that if I read something, you know, if I read 9 of the books, I had to read all of the books. Now, if I don't really like it, I just stop. But I do feel the pressure to finish it, you know, because I think it's one of those things where I grew up with not a lot, so I don't want to waste things. I also want to respect people and their kind of like artistic vision. And sometimes if like something's not gelling like right immediately, sometimes we'll give it time. And sometimes that time will help because then I won't be like impatient or I won't be in a mood or something or, you know, worried about money or worried about, you know, health or worried about whatever. And, you know, I'll be in a mindset that I can like more objectively appreciate it. You know, maybe. Williams, the dinner is ready if you'd like. I'm excited to see what dinner is. Maybe I need to do something. Marion says, nearly bedtime for me and my phone needs charging, so I will say goodnight. Although trying to visualize the final form. Yeah, me too. I might add something like this. A little hot dog. And maybe shape this in. Because I was trying to make a pretty face at first, but then I'm like, maybe I just need to like make it kind of scary looking. Cheryl says, but did he get you the ice cream? I don't know. I'm eager to find out. So I don't know. I'll do something where I do something where here, maybe, so that it's more rounded. Maybe I'll take the chin off. And one time somebody was like, "Well, your pieces all kind of look like you," and I was like, "Oh well, that's because I look at my face all the time." And I was like, "I guess that makes sense." Boy, that looked like one of them Dragon Ball Z or something, but we'll see. All right. There's not very many of you tuning in. So I think this is a perfect stopping point for me to get something to eat, maybe cool down a little bit, get a drink because I'm getting kind of froggy in my throat. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you out there. I know a lot of our people have already kind of gone to bed or gone off to do something else. But both William and I are so appreciative of all of you out there who allow us to do what we do. We really couldn't do it without you. And I'm not just saying that. You know, sometimes it seems like a platitude, like somebody's just like blowing hot air up your behind end. But it's fact, you know, we could not be able to do this without the support of all of you out there. You definitely keep us going, not just monetarily and financially, which you definitely do, but you encourage us and inspire us to continue to search for beauty and look for interesting things and try to make new things and enjoy new things and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to leave off on a note of gratitude. We appreciate all of you out there, and we're so grateful for the hashtag AGBead fam because it really does mean a lot to us. Um, and we've talked about that a lot recently about how, you know, sometimes things are hard. I don't want to bring the vibe down, but, you know, things have not been particularly easy as we've been moving. You may have noticed that kind of tinged some of the lives. And you know, without digressing too far, I think that it's one of those things where when you're a small business owner and an entrepreneur, and you're in such a niche kind of market, and you know, there are lots of delays or things are more expensive than you originally thought. You know, there's so many, or things get canceled, or plans don't go according to the way you thought they would. You know, there's a lot of kind of heartache involved. And I don't know if anybody ever talks about that. But being a small business owner, there's a lot that you kind of have to learn to compartmentalize, or you can like drive yourself crazy. But one of the best things and the great things about the hashtag AGBead fam is that, you know, you help make it easier. You make sometimes hard situations not so hard. You know, there'll never be a time when we don't have something going on that's hard. You know, that's just life. There is always something going on that is not going to be perfect. It's going to not be the thing that matches the idea in your mind. There's always going to be something, you know, something, an email's going to get late, or, you know, something could happen where a toilet leaks or something. You know, there's always going to be something. And, you know, that's fine as long as we have like our support system, because that makes all the hard things less hard. So I don't know how many of you all are still watching. You know, I'm getting into the kind of ramble zone. But at the same time, I did want to say that we appreciate all of you out there for helping us, you know, in this very transitional time as we navigate new pathways and forge new ways ahead. So, thank you. All right. Have a good night, everyone. See ya.